Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nigerian Pro League. And I know you're wondering what is happening. Let us get this thing started. Trust me, I am just as excited to get this started as you are. But if you were wondering who else is excited, it is that man who is just sitting right beside me there, none other but Priest himself. How are you doing today, Priest?
Ooh, I'm good. I did get a little bit under the weather, but I'm feeling a little better right now. So, we have to bring the action live. It's the finals. There's no way I could miss it. I'm active. I'm ready. Let's get this show on the road.
Yes, sir. We're definitely going to be getting things on the road. And without wasting any further time, I need to show you guys what we have on stake. It's Foul Play taking the lead here in the NPL Grand Finals. Or, well, sorry, in the NPL Rain Split Finals. 105 points, but they're just having a 2-point lead over Ecstasy. And then Tribe Warriors about 20 points behind them as well. How has these games been going to you, Priest? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I've never seen it this close. The top five teams still have a fighting chance. It has been absolutely incredible to watch. They have been turning up day after day, and I am super excited to see what the final has in store for us.
Definitely. I mean, I also look at the side. I'm looking at that leaderboard, looking at the side of AOD, Angels of Death. Seeing them pull up in top five and their performances in the map of Erangel as well. This is things that are surprising me. These are the surprises that I like to see. I see Three Crowns are also in that mix, but another thing that we're keeping our eye out on as well would be those overall players. Tribe Warriors having 24 MVP, number one 28, and seeing Amar like this is a very close MVP race here, Priest.
Yeah. Of in this last day of the finals.
Yeah, definitely. And we really hope that they're going to pull that off. But man, nothing screams chaotic final day but Sanhok. So we're going to be getting things started off in the map here of Sanhok. Playing path, we don't really do too much about that when we look at the map of Sanhok. As we can see, everyone's going to be able to get to their preferred drop locations. And I'm really hoping not to see any hot drops in this map here of Sanhok. Everyone does seem to be jumping off the plane. And Priest, what are your thoughts, predictions for this first game of the day?
Uh, Definitely a little bit, tricky with a spot like that, but I got to feel, I think, try to put it got the gap. Is he gonna keep running? It looks like Ragnar and CLB have started to trade below. CLB already in the world, but Warriors is my pick. I think they are going in game 24 and makes it happen.
Very interesting pick. I also had my eyes on the side of Tribe Warriors. The first pick of a 20 point, 20 points gap, to catch each other out there in the side there of Tribe Warriors and Ecstasy. Sorry, Ecstasy and Foul Play. Yes, I've really been impressed at how Foul Play has been playing so far. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Foul Play will continue today, especially today being the last day. See if they can hold up to those last day nerves.
Interesting turn of the Vortex. One of those has been sitting quite based, but not nice crowd. This is one of
Mhm.
this early Kali. It's not good, fam. It's not good. You know that you're dropping out of that part three where the money is at. I'm pretty sure that's going to hurt the confidence of Dark Knights, seeing how this game has already started.
Definitely, it is hurting the side there of Dark Knights, but it would also be making the side there of Tribe Warriors give them a little bit of a breathing space. And for the side there of Angels of Death, they would be rejoicing as that gives them chance to overtake the side here of Dark Knights. Definitely not a start that the side here of Dark Knights are looking for. And the team that we've been talking about for today, or a team that has been the talk, they have seen how they gradually climbed up going into these finals. They won day two yesterday, finally able to overtake this idea of 10-11 ecstasy. It's going to be none of that but foul play. I'm really impressed. You actually think they can hold it up for this final day?
I mean, I am impressed so far with what they've been able to achieve. It is absolutely impressive, but it is going to take mindset up, to keep the pressure off their back. So of teams more that top three spot, and it's not going to be. They're going to have to dig very, very deep to put in that pressure. But I will be looking out to see if they can actually put it off. I mean, this is an interesting way for the to start, and I'm super excited to see if they are going to stay on top of things as the game progresses.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is one thing that that mentality that you said really is something that everyone has to look out for the side of foul play, and I'm really hoping that they have it in them and they can bring that as well. Another team that I'm looking out there is the side of Three Crown. We've not really seen them show us that they're that Three Crown that we knew in that Hamatan split. Going into this range split, and then for this final day, they're sitting in 67 points in sixth position, but nonetheless, it's not really been that much of an impressive or the regular impressive showing that we'd see from the side of Three Crown.
Yeah, actually, was absolutely right. But I did, think a bit about, yesterday's congestion in fixtures. I think it did play a role in their performance overall. But the fact that they are still in the top six, absolutely impressive. COB will take a hit. That guy will show us why he's that guy. First elimination for Neon Rising and Ecstasy receiving damage again from Ragnar. This is exactly what we saw yesterday. The teams that are somewhat at the bottom half of the leaderboard, they have continuously showed that they are not afraid, to take a stand. Everybody come hold my hand type shit.
Truly, and this is one thing that we've been saying, that confidence value, or sorry, that confidence factor. Apart from confidence as well, the will to pull that trigger, go for that aggressive play. That's something that we've been asking for many of these teams, where we don't just want to see a top-heavy tournament. And now again, we're starting to see it with Ragnar starting to push this idea of 10-11 ecstasy, do a little bit of damage. That is impressive stuff to see here. But it's looking like things might be crumbling for this idea of 10-11 ecstasy as they're getting approached by this idea of Three Crown Esports. Bego lets loose of that trigger lock, takes a couple of shots, but he's gonna have to fall back and try to find cover in these trees here in Sanhok.
Yeah, big problem for Bego there. He's absolutely exposed. There is no protection for him. Three Crown Esports, they are much hungrier than Ecstasy right now, and it's starting to show that the pressure is could potentially, be making them make some silly mistakes. Bego just out there in the open, missed all of his shots, and he's taking damage. Now he's exposed. He could be isolated. If Three Crown Esports could play this right, they could put some distance, between Ecstasy and Foul Play at the top.
And it is looking like everyone's got their eyes on the boot camp hill here, where we've got Club of Ballers in the mix, Three Crown in the mix, a little bit of Neon Rising also around that area. And it's looking like Nexus doesn't want to let Bego go as he's going for that push. It's going to be the shotgun S12K to do the damage. And instant thirst has been found, and things are starting to crumble for this idea of 10-11 ecstasy. There's two teams who are very, very happy as to what is happening. It is Tribe Warriors and the side of Foul Play, as that is one opponent that like the more they lose numbers, the better things might be for you as a team.
Yeah, exactly. And this is exactly what we talked about, Ecstasy making a little bit of a mistake. They're getting absolutely hurt. Pecco was exposed and he felt the pain instantly. Now, Arch Esports won a chunk of the action as well. They deal with 4 portions. They want to make sure that this team does not get any high leaderboard out of catching up to them. Just a couple points outside. And portions need they've lost to Ace and Roman back into the lobby, getting picked up, but there is a long way to go, Crowns.
And this is the map of Sanhok. The chaos never stops. You don't really get that much of a breathing space. This is zone one, and all of these teams are already going at it, going at each other. We've only lost one team so far, but every other person does seem to be like, it's like everyone came into this game like, we are here to take you people. We want this. And this is the hunger that I'm seeing. And I'm really hoping that this Sanhok would dictate how the rest of these games would be for today.
Yeah, you're right. Sanhok does have to give you a little bit of that vibe as to how the games will go. If you are going to start on the front foot, you have to know that if you start that way, you have to finish that way. You cannot take your foot off the gas, especially Ecstasy, Foul Play, Tribe Warriors, and AOD right now. Even Three Crown Esports, if they do get themselves a chicken dinner here, it could change everything.
Definitely, and that is one thing I don't know, man. I might be changing that prediction. Tribe Warriors, I don't know. Maybe Three Crowns should actually get this and would see what that top four battle, matter of fact, maybe even top five battle is going to be. Everyone's going to want to be in that spot. But I'm going to take my lights and my eyes away from that top four a little bit. Try to focus more on some of those teams that I see on the bottom. There's two teams that instantly, when I look at the bottom of the leaderboards, they start to call my name. First being RT Sports, and second being Dream Team. I can't seem to understand why the side of RT would be in 15th place, given how well and how strong they played in the previous stages.
Exactly. It bogs my mind as well. I did expect a powerhouse of a performance from Arab T, but it looks like the pressure of a final has gotten to them yet again. But hopefully, they will be able to put some good points up on the board for themselves. Remember, it is all about the grand final points accumulated. But now, Arab T, 21 points after 10 games is not an ideal start at all. And Dream Team with the same, idea right now, 31 points. Again, it is not enough. I don't believe it's final, position, but we're going to keep our fingers crossed for them. Hopefully, they find their rhythm on this last day. But yeah, we'll be rooting for them for sure if they can put that pressure on the rest of the teams that are sitting above them.
Because we all know the one thing that you have to do is put those points up on board. You cannot be sleeping, you cannot be relaxing. RT Sports finding themselves just out on the outskirts of Quarry, trying to leg it into the zone. Looking at other positioning coming through from the other teams. Angels of Death on that northeastern edge. Three Crowns just on the outskirts of Banana and Boot Camp, holding up the Boot Camp hill. They seem to have reigned as champions on the top of that hill. But then again, with the way that zone is looking, it's not looking like that next circle is going to favor, that position being held by Three Crown Club of Ballers or even V4M.
Exactly. And again, sitting in the top 10, Vortex have a long stretch ahead of them. AOD also, if AOD, can find something inside of this game, it could turn things around for them. Sitting behind, the guys from Dark Knight, they've given them a pathway into the top five, into the top four. Tribe Warriors are not too far away. 10-point difference is very, very achievable. They're building up absolutely incredible numbers, but will it be enough to get them a grand final spot? Well, we're about to find out. Three Crown Esports on the other side, taking hits here, trying to hold it on. The S12K will send Enjoy all the way back to think about his options. And Pharaoh, will he let his people go? I don't think so. Grenade is good, and it's a flashbang, and he doesn't see it. And that was a beautiful shot from Enjoy. Closes it out. Three Crown Esports, 3 eliminations now and counting.
And that is a very impressive form up coming through from the rest of the team there of Three Crown Esports. We did see Enjoy being the only player in that building. And then the quick form up from his teammates, that was absolutely amazing. But V4M doing the complete opposite of that. That was a solo push coming in through, and they have reaped the consequences of such actions.
Yeah, they have absolutely reaped the consequences. They're probably going to think about going forward to advance this, how they want to approach it. Three Crowns, you can see what they are trying to do. Hold the northern side of boot camp and keep it for themselves. They are in a very good split. Any team that falls into that kill zone is going to have a tough time. Ecstasy already felt the brunt of it. Can they hold on? The Three Crown Esports starting very good, but Harsh Esports, they could do better. The distance between Harsh Esports and Neon Rising is quite scary. Crowns, do you think Harsh Esports can actually make up that difference?
Well, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I'm hoping they can do it. They've not really shown me to be that they're that team that can be very aggressive. But then again, we saw how they could play on some highlights that we saw from that Hamatan split, and also a little bit of how they've played in this rain split. I mean, they're here in the final, so I would give them their flowers for that one. But as you said, it is a tough one. That's a what 22 point gap, and well, they would need a chicken dinner and more to catch up to that. But this is a heavy fight about to happen here in Boot Camp. Tribe Warriors having to deal with 2 players there from Ecstasy, and I'm not sure they are aware how many they're dealing with, but it's only a matter of time before they figure that out.
Absolutely right. Chaos couldn't here. Tribe Warriors could have it in the palm of their hand. And that grenade from 24 MVP knocked away. He's going to try it through, but Crusader will turn things around, get the first drop again, get the open side onto the left-hand side. The jump shot is good, but not as good as Surgery, as he will be surgically removed from the lobby. Again, Ecstasy will lose out. Now, opportunity for AOD and Tribe Warriors to squabble up and foul play to extend their.
Just had to notice there that the side of Tribe Warriors came in with only 3 players. That is not the attitude that I want to see going into the final day of the finals, especially when you still have a chance at, not just top 2, but you still have a chance to take it all home. I mean, Ecstasy is already out. The side of Tribe Warriors know who they just took out is Ecstasy. That is the team just right above them. So now the pressure is on them, and they have to manage that pressure well to the end of this game, because now they know they have to put up numbers to at least get, if not closer, or well, if not above Ecstasy, they need to get at least closer to Ecstasy so that the next couple games they can probably get a chance to go above.
Big chance for them, very big chance for them if they can capitalize. They have lost one and they are already lacking in the number. And foul play will not make me see how diabolical they have been. They haven't given up on any opportunities here. They have capitalized on basically. Now this could be something special for them. The position out of the zone is very, 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 very critical how they finish this game. It is phase 2 of the circle. The next phase is about to give us something very, very special to see if foul play can hold this high ground position and stop any team that wants to make it all the way through.
And that is something that has been impressive about how Foul Play has played this final so far. We've been seeing the positions that they've been able to hold in the circle and how well they've been able to hold those positions. I mean, we also saw it in the map of Miramar, because it's not just in one map that they're pulling up these numbers, but they're pulling it up in, or well, they're putting up this kind of, positioning. They're doing it in other maps as well. And that is very impressive. Seeing them hold the top of Camp Alpha Hill is actually good. And they're holding a split as well. So that gives them so much sight lines, so much information as to what is going on in the rest of the circle.
Yeah, big ideas from very good that position they've had. But the play zone is about to close down and give us a little bit of an idea of where it is going to move next. And it does. Center up in boot camp. Ecstasy will be fighting and kicking their feet up right now because of this position. Tribe Warriors, could they capitalize with a 2-man center of the circle at this?
And then again, as much as this book composition looks very good, it could be a double-edged sword, because it's one of those cases where if you're in boot camp right now, the possibility of you getting as many eliminations as you'd want would start to reduce, right? Because now you're subjected to just staying in the buildings. Now I'm looking at to how, and especially in this lobby where everybody likes to play on the edge, right? It's gonna get a little tricky, and I even want to see how every other team is gonna approach this as well. Because technically, this zone doesn't really have an edge. Because if you choose to play the edge, you're just putting yourself in danger. Because this zone has not really picked a side. There's that lake in the middle that is dividing everyone, and it's gonna be a tough one knowing where to peak.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It is going to be a very, very, very hard nut to crack. Again, owing to the fact that the zone is split in 2 ways. Those teams coming in from the western side, Camp Alpha, Foul, and the likes. And the likes of the other teams that are going to be in Boot Camp 3, Crown Esports, and Tribe Warriors, they're all going to think about this one, how they will put Yagami from Newick applying some of that pressure as well, trying to put Hashi Sports to sleep again. Things are looking very, very dicey for them. Monkey trying to hold it down. That's a good grenade, but it does connect. Choo Choo goes down. Beautiful grenade from Sleepy Boy, putting him to sleep. Monkey 1 HP. Potentially that grenade lands, and it could be hard. It does connect. Sleepy Boy to run. Falls over to the right hand side. Now he's looking for a way inside. Lewick looking absolutely incredible right now. Reza to finish, and Monkey might be spotted, and that will be the game. Lewick will put the nail in the final coffin. Hashi Sports will go out in 18th place crowns. This is not what they needed to do. They needed to do so much better.
And it doesn't end right there. 4 portions, I've heard the noise. They want a little bit of that action. Shots coming in through. Luik loses one instantly, and it looks like User might be getting a little too excited. The headshots will force him down. But what a push coming in through from the side of Luik onto the side of Hashi Sports. That was a very nice push coming through. The grenade usage, Luik Esports. That is interesting. You people can use grenade like this. What are you doing in 13th place? Lucky.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, if they can use the grenade like that, they should have been locking in the jump. Things are going to be hard. They're rising. Are going to put the pressure on again, getting a drop through Wizard, and that guy working their absolute beekeeper did get knocked away, but this will give them an interesting spot to hold this position, and they are in a very, very tantalizing spot. But can they keep it casual? Can they hold on to the lines? They are a little bit too far out from those top three teams. This could be the opportunity to catch up.
Woo. Speaking of opportunities, four portions will be taking this opportunity to increase their elimination counts. They've got grenades and they've got 2 knocks onto the side here of Luik, making that even 3 knocks as Luik starting to lose the numbers. Regioso pushing closer and closer. DBS in hand, he's done the damage and he's gotten the elimination. Luik Esports go out just as instant as they came in to this compound.
Yes, sir. Garbage in, garbage out, and that is what the action is. Regioso. His back will have all sorts of stretch marks with the way he's carrying this team. You love to see it. Four portions looking very are still a two-man team. Dream Team could be licking their lips here because the play zone is going to draw them over to that western side, and things could be looking very, very dire for four portions, going into phase 4 of the circle.
And in case you do not understand what that movement to the western side of the zone means, it means everyone in boot camp, everyone on the other side of the lake has to either swim over or pass through the shackles of Neon Rising in the Trifecta region. This is going to be a very tough rotation for the side of Angels of Death, 3 Crown Esports, Tribe Warriors, RFT Esports, V4M who are down to just 1, Afro Esports as well. This is going to be one very tough rotation for these teams to pull off.
Ooh, Nexus had no idea that things were looking very, very dastardly. Molotov cocktail inside, and Joy has to escape and manages to get himself on there, but that was very, very close. Oh, what a grenade! Oh, so diabolical from Top C, closing it out. Tribe Warriors are not slide this one backwards. Quilla is all up to him now. Can he clutch?
Can he clutch is real. It's a 1v1. Quilla up. Oh, that's a good grenade. And Topsy threw that one upstairs, and that is the end. But man, at what cost? Now they've got 7 eliminations, but not as many players. They've got just 1 player. And as I said, it's going to be a tough rotation. Everyone has heard that. And I think Angels of Death, they're leaving a couple players on that shoreline with the hope to, eliminate whoever is left there in boot camp.
Yeah, you can see the strategy coming through there from AOD, but again, it is slow and steady for them. They haven't gotten any eliminations yet. They are trying to play this nicely. They are in a very interesting 2-2 split, trying to hold that southeastern side of boot camp, trying to close on. They do have one side and one leg outside. The next play zone is going to be a big decider of how it rolls. Arab T now pushing up to that position. The numbers may not be working. 8-8 gets the first drop on Atarodo. That could be trouble. Squash Boo comes through from Afro Esports, third party of the century. And Afro Esports, they did get a chicken dinner yesterday. Their pressure is on the mound for them, but AOD will try their best to keep the pressure low.
AOD have to take 2 fights at the same time. Tribe Warriors goes out in the meanwhile, but foul play still alive with all 4 players and a very good position to balance that out. But RT Sports would fight it out on the shorelines as they have to deal with the side of Angels of Death. Grenades from Jay is wonderful. It is excellent. Wow, RT Sports starting to crumble. They just supposed last player, and Angels of Death knows they've got the done. But now there is more. There's another team coming in from behind them, and it's going to be Afro Esports. They need to get rid of Angels of Death as quickly as possible.
Pressure, a lot of pressure on that eastern side. Arab T getting absolutely blasted side to side from AOD. They are going to have to think about how they want to make this rotation because 888 on the other side has been knocked away. Jay is going to have to find a way through. Same thing with Azrael because you can see he's swim across, trying to get that, make sure that they do not lose the numbers. But after Esports peek out a little bit there, and Azrael gets knocked away inside the water, and now it's all left to Jay. He's been spotted, and AOD will go back into the lobby. And now opportunity for Neon Rising to rise.
Another team who is rising with this is going to be Foul Play. They have been in the shadows all game long. 2 eliminations, but they have a strong position, and there's only so many people who can actually take you. Like the way Foul Play has played so far, they have so much information as to what is going on that northwestern edge that no team can actually push up onto them without getting eliminated. And they're holding such strong position. The 2-2 split, and it's now they're going to start to rain hell on the rest of the lobby here in the map of Sanhok.
Rain hell indeed. But there is a lot of ground for them to cover. The play zone is not going to be too favorable for them. If they don't start to move, but the split from them is very, very good. Dream Team on the other side, Paddington and is going to be a victim of Squash Blue. Afro Esports are not taking this one lying down. Peter has to find a way into that zone without taking any more damage, as he is going to be the last fit around. That can Peter take 1v2? Good spray. He'll go to the top side. He does get the drop, but Neon Rising will be there to put the knife in the back of Dream Team.
Afro Esports in a world of hurt. They are down to the one player in SWAT who is in the water. There is only so much he can do. They did have that airdrop loose, but there's only so much they can do. All things being considered, this is Foul Play's game for the taking. Neon Rising would be the one next in their line of sight, as we can start to see the shots coming into the building. Foul Play have caught a whiff of the side of Neon Rising in this compound, and it's only a matter of time before they start to take the fight. The only problem is both teams are not in the zone. What is the move?
Exactly. You could ask that what would be the strategy here. Afro Esports also looking for a way through. Foul Play trying to close this down, but immediately Play is told to stay out, and he will be dropped, and that will be a beautiful drop with the MG3. Play Zone will get the job done, and now that will be one for the books. Foul Play still keeping their numbers up, still keeping the pressure off. This could be a that extend their lead even further.
It definitely is looking like one. It is looking like one. Neon Rise, and they're trying to hold, but there's only so much they can do. The Afro, make that foul play. They have a long split going on, and Peru's going to be able to get revived there because they have players on an off angle. This is basically them all alone to fight with the side of Neon Rising, and Neon Rising has everything for that play zone to work with. They've lost 2 players, and they're down to the beekeeper, who has to find a way outside, and the side of foul play know that he has to get out of that compound. This is, as I said, it is beautiful gameplay coming through from them. They held the positioning, and now they're just starting to reap and take off everyone who is trying to make it into that next circle.
Yeah, big game coming through from Foul Play. They're doing everything absolutely right here. And what a grenade. Oh, what a grenade. Over to the side there. Bedu will give them the real Bedu now. He knocks them through, and he will close it down. And that's a beautiful touch from Foul Play now. They are down to 1. V4M on the other side. 3 versus 1. Surely the job is done. But Plays gets knocked away. Nickel over to the other side. Can he hold on? 1 HP. This could be an opportunity here for V4M to do the unthinkable. Foul Play has knocked away. Trouble for them. Can they hold it on? Nickel has to close this down, and PlayStation 0. Pressure on pressure. He knocks away his teammates. Sat in the lobby. Around an amount of too much pressure, and he does have a little bit of the play zone to work with here. Can he capitalize?
Does he know? Does he know about that revive? They know about his position, but does he know about the revive? He's able to get one. The grenades were in their hand, but they stopped the cook. Now Nicole has to grab that revive. He has to get his HP back up, but he is Station 0, pushing with half of the HP. Nicole is going to hold it on. He has the advantage. The UBS in the hand as well. He might take this away from Foul Play. Oh, he does! He takes it off, and Vortex 4 get themselves the first chicken dinner of the day, ripping it off of the hands of Foul Play. Talk about a way. Talk about a clutch. That was a beautiful 1v3.
It was something absolutely special, Crowns. I did not expect him to cook like that, but he is feral for a reason, and he did not let Foul Play go at all. What a performance from Vortex. What a chicken dinner. And now the game is on.
The game really is on. We called it earlier. Can Pharaoh actually lead his people? Can he let people go? But it looks like that is not what he had in mind. Talk about a play coming through from V4M. They started off in the strong foods, lost all their players early on, but that last solo in Pharaoh was able to hold things down and not just get them enough positional points, but was able to clutch them a winner chicken dinner. Talk about the game. And the use of grenades in this game, Chris, was absolutely nice.
incredible 11 grenade eliminations. That tells you exactly all you need to know. And these teams have been putting in that work. We love to see 25 assists. I mean, it tells you every single thing that these teams have been doing is next level, and that is what we love to see.
The position did come in through for the side there of foul play, 1200 damage. They got 6 eliminations from this game. Unfortunately, they just fell short at that final moment where they did go down to that solo. But Vortex also not sleeping on this one. 8 elimination, 36 damage coming through from them. That was wonderful gameplay coming in through from both teams, to be honest. And if either one of those teams that would have taken this game, I wouldn't have complained, because that was actually a very nice way to play this game.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. To kick things off, I loved every single minute of it, and that is what we love to see. But the action still, into Regioso, we saw him do 5 eliminations all by his lonesome with no help. And like I said, a lot of backbreaking activity here for Four Fortunes, but he was able to put some good points up for his team, not allowing them to just drop, further down from that leaderboard.
Definitely, we did mention Regioso as well during the game, that he was actually doing a lot of carrying, did get his team 5 eliminations. That would work for the side of foul play. We just question how much. Wizard from Neon Rising also making it to the top players in this lobby. Nix is here as well. Sharmut from foul play, and Squash from Afro Esports also here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even surprised to see these numbers. We did see Afro Esports come through from that shoreline. Unfortunately, that fight with Dream Team took them a little too long, and eventually they had to go down to not just the play zone, but to that heavy fire coming in through from the side here of Neon Rising.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's so many ways this could have gone. But again, they kept it kosher. They kept it on top. They kept it on par. 18 points, nothing too crazy. Foul play, just chasing behind with 12. Neon Rising also putting in some good points in there as well, up to 9 points to the good. They put in a lot of performances that we've seen similar to this. Afro Esports as well. Tribe Warriors with the same concept. Dream Team, unfortunately, just couldn't get into the double digits, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
Definitely not. But then again, we start to look down at the bottom. We did say RFT Esports were not putting enough points up on board, and 3 points is definitely not enough. 3 Crown Esports, another team that I mentioned earlier on in the game, we did see them get started on a very strong foot. Unfortunately, that rotation out of bootcamp, I did say it could be a double-edged sword, and indeed it cuts them very deep. But then again, overall top players, 24 MVP was able to put 2 points in terms of eliminations. He did go out early as well, but we're starting to see more players catch up with PlayStation 5, chasing on the tail, just 2 eliminations behind.
Yeah, you've seen, PlayStation, he has been cooking, he has been on the chase. 28 eliminations is no small feat. Darkness still chasing behind Amar, still hasn't been able to crack that code, but there is still work to be done. Trader also in the mix. Hopefully they will be able to find their rhythm in the next game. But take a look at the leaderboard crown.
Foul play increased their lead 117, putting themselves that's 13 points ahead of XTC. It is a lead, but it still is not that strong of a lead, and this is what we're saying about Tribe Warriors. Tribe Warriors also finding themselves about 15 points behind the side there of 10-11 XTC. But then again, Dark Knights, they did go out early. 83 points that they have. Angels of Death did do numbers in this game, and they're starting to catch up slowly and slowly. Neon Rising though, slowly and slowly rising to the top of the leaderboard, because this is game 1. We've got 3 more games to go. Priest, this is still possible.
Yeah, it is absolutely still possible. There is still a lot of ground to cover here, and that is what we love to see. But the leaderboard is going to take so many different shapes and sizes tonight, and that is what we are looking for. But it's not over just yet. 1 game down, 4 more to go, ladies and gentlemen. So stay locked and stay strapped in, and we will be right back after the break for the Erangel game.
We. Hello and welcome back. You guys, Priest told me that he's very shy. That first game was a little too much action than he could handle. But do not fret and do not fear. He might or he will be joining us before the end of the day. But nonetheless, it's going to be me driving you and piloting you for the rest of the games. This is the second game we're about to get started, and man, it has been fun. What a way to start. I sincerely love when the day starts with with Sanhok, because it just instantly tosses you into chaos, which kind of gets me wondering, where does Erangel come into the mix? Because I think we've got 2 Erangel games today, or maybe we've got more than that. All I just know is that I am here to watch beautiful action coming in through from Nigerian Pro League Season 8. This is the rain split, and without wasting any further time, we'll be heading into the first Erangel game of the day. Playing path is already looking like one of those ones that are pretty much in the center of everything, and it's not in the center of anything. It is down towards that western side, taking us all the way from the waters of Sosnovka military base all the way to the outskirts of Jojopo, just right between Zarki. And that playing path is looking quite nice. I like the way it's shiny. Anyway, this kind of playing path is not very fun, especially for teams that like to go to the likes of Yasnaya. Even to an extent, Severny teams might not really have so much fun. Muta Power, these are places that are going to be relatively harder to reach, and that is going to force a couple hot drops here. So I wouldn't be too surprised if I start to see hot drops in the likes of the military base, maybe Pochinki, maybe Primosk. I know Ferry Pier is not the best of places to land, and I'd like to see what team is going to try to make things work from that side of the map. But nonetheless, the hospital, Jojopo, happens to be places that can contain more than one team. And hopefully, those teams that would land there would be able to maneuver and find their way out without stressing too much. Zaki, I know a team that used to land in Zaki. Unfortunately, they are not here in the finals. Well, I guess that opens Zaki down. So let's see how all these other teams are going to land, where they're going to land. 10-11 XTC, we know them to like to land in Yasnaya. And from what it's looking like, it looks like they'll be landing to get their vehicles. Teams that land in Rozok wouldn't have too much of a problem. Neon Rising choosing to go for the military base this time and not going for their regular school landing. I'm trying to see what teams are going there to try to understand what is going on. Tribe Warriors as well, a team that would always see in Rozok, choosing to go for a different split now up there in Jojopo. And Three Crown Esports, who we would normally see in Jojopo, not Jojopo, we're seeing them this time around the hospital area of the map. So this is one very interesting, and this is what happens when you get these types of play parts. They force you to have to play from a different angle, to play differently. 10-11 XTC opting for the vehicles and getting in. I mean, even foul play, we would normally see them around that Severny area of the map, but this time it does look like they would be the solo occupants of Pochinki. And looking at the side of Afro Esports landing in school, it is understandable why Neon Rising would opt to land in Military Island. But nonetheless, rotations are going to be quite nice for a very harsh playing path. Everyone does seem to have found their footing when it comes to landing. So yeah, we'll try to see how these teams would play this one out. But yeah, I am excited. First game of the day going to Vortex 4 a.m. Talk about a clutch coming in through from it started with a K. It started with a K. You guys, it started with a K. What is it? I think it was Kizu or something around that line. I'm gonna find out now. Just give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I need to remember his name because that was a clutch and a half. It was something that we were wondering if he was going to be able to pull off, and indeed he was able to pull it off. Talk about a play and a half. We did see his name as Pharaoh, but I believe he had something else when he was going for that one. It had a K in it. Where is it? Oh, it was Nikhil or Nico. Yeah, there we go. Nico, that was a very nice. That was actually a very good push coming in through. He held his angle well. And one thing that I saw in that map of Sanhok that I'm hoping to see again in this map of Erangel is the use of throwables. 11 grenades in the map of Sanhok. I don't know, maybe it was a thing of Sanhok, but I think it was actually beautiful to see guys starting to use the grenades even more. That is something that I would always encourage from all of these teams. So yep. W gameplay, love to see that one. Let me know in the chat, who are you guys here for? Who do you want to see? Who do you guys think actually wins this all? We did see foul play increase their number on the leaderboard, 117 points that they've been able to get. 10-11 XTC are still behind. They went out quite early in that previous game. I don't even think they got more than one elimination, but they did get that one elimination, and but that is still not enough points to get them in into the finals. Oh well. Sorry, that's not enough points to get them very close to foul play. And it's so interesting to see how foul play has played. I really want to see how foul play plays the rest of these games today, to be honest. But nonetheless, I'll keep my fingers crossed, I'll keep my eyes open, and I'll be sure to pay attention to what is going on. Nonetheless, if you guys know the sound I just heard in my ears, you definitely be happy just as much as I am. It is looking like Priest might be back in the mix, but he will let you know once he is back. But nonetheless, I'm still keeping my eyes on other teams. Tribal Warriors, they're closing the gap onto the side of 1011X to see. I want to see if they can continue with that. We know them to be stronger on the map there of Myanmar. So now being Sanhok, or this map being Sanhok, that is something I like to say. And again, Tribe Warriors not landing where we normally would see them land. Normally would see them land in Rosok, but this game they've chosen to land in North Jojopo. So this discrepancy in landing, that change in drop location from most of these teams, I want to see how they're going to maneuver and how they're going to play this one till the end of the tournament, or well, till the end of today's games, because today is going to get as tough as it could get. One thing I really want to see is RT Esports. We've not once again seen RT Esports in 15th position with 24 points only. That is not RT Sports numbers. I'm really looking forward to seeing what is going on. Maybe even know who is on the squad. Did they change the squad? Did they change things up? Because we know oftentimes teams make that mistake where they kind of change things up relatively close to the finals, and then they start to go for a little bit of a decline in how they play. So I know that there's other tournaments that are coming up, and maybe some of these teams are looking to build some more chemistry. But then again, this is the final day. You might as well just use that team that you have the chemistry with and try to see how well, or at least get this one in the bag before you continue to do before you continue to try to build other things on the side. Neon Rising slowly climbing up. Neon Rising, a team that I would, in the previous stages I've said it, on the final day seems to be where they don't really do too well, but it looks like this time reverse might be the case. They did have a good game in that Sanhok. Unfortunately, it was a question of who had to leave that compound first. They did like the compound. It was a good compound. Unfortunately, the play zone did not favor that compound, and they had no choice but to leave. And obviously, when you have foul play with 2 players in the circle and 2 players outside the circle, you would think you're fighting up against 2 teams. And indeed, they eventually went out to beautiful and sexy grenades. Three Crown Esports, Nexus is back in the team. We didn't really see him so much in that survival stage. But then again, it is nice to see him locked in and loaded in the lobby here. I would like to see how well that one is going to change things up for this idea of Three Crown. And man, the man of the moment, the team of the moment, the one who won the first game. And once again, that just goes to show you just how much a chicken dinner can do. Because I mean, just one chicken dinner and they already find themselves in 8th position. I mean, the still cup is still like quite a number of points behind this idea of Three Crown Esports. But if they can continue to play the same way they've played, that is going to shake things up a whole lot. And even when I say shake things up, it will also shake things up in the top of the leaderboard. Because, I mean, look at that first game, played out so well for foul play. And you can only imagine how it must have been for foul play. Seeing at the early stages of the game, Dark Knights going out as the first team, they're like, okay, that is one team. They're still far, but okay, we still have a couple more. Then you're seeing Ecstasy go out. It's like, oh, okay, that's the closest people to us. And they just kept on holding out because they, at that point, from the point where Ecstasy goes out, you know that all you have to do is maximize the amount of points you can get in this game. And they did try their best. The chicken dinner was all they needed, but unfortunately, sometimes individual prowess, individual strength can actually be a thorn in the flesh. Tribe Warriors finally getting the memo, finally understanding that they are in the finals of the rain split and they still have something to fight for, are here now with a full squad. You love to see that one. We did mention Harsh Sports in that first game, and they did not show us too good of a gameplay in that first game. But then again, it was an absolute push coming in through from the side there of Louis, who pushed up onto them and got them out into the lobby. But nonetheless, they still have chances. They still have time to try and time to get in. I'm just waiting. And I'm just waiting for a production to give me that call. And I would be bringing in who you all love to hear. We all love to hear. Personally, I'm actually waiting for him to actually join me on this one. But nonetheless, we're still seeing rotations come through. This is still early rotations coming in through. The playing path, once again, wasn't very nice. But then again, still seeing all 16 teams alive at this point is quite impressive. And given that everybody, as I said, this is going to be one very interesting match for me to watch because these drop locations are quite foreign for me. Maybe not foreign for the teams, but But at least for me, it is quite foreign, and I'd like to see how these teams are going to play their way around this one. Once again, which other team? Afro Esports, Afro Esports, Afro Esports. 50 points up on the board, but I do not know.
Yeah, yeah, I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. I don't know. All right, all right, all right. Oh, yeah,
All
this is my
right,
internet
Afro
thing.
Esports, as I was saying, Afro Esports, in all honesty, right now, I'm not going to be too harsh. Ninth position is not okay. You know what? Let's say I expected more. But anyway, it's going to be Luik though, looking to go up against the side of Afro Esports. But man, Afro Esports already getting the strong foot on this one as they already have a couple knocks their way. One knock, one thirst has been found, and they will continue to push on to the side of Luik.
Yeah, Luke fighting mysterious battles here. We've seen them struggle against teams, especially in these types of terrain. And Afro Esports are looking to close this one out, and they will in beautiful fashion. Luke, unfortunately, just couldn't crack it. They will go out. I think they will be down to one. And again, that will keep things just out of proportions for Luke, but hope we'll be able to bounce back from this position.
Afro Esports said, "Come, this is not harsh esports, so we will take you out if you try anything." And indeed, they took them out. 3 players already out of the mix for the side there of Luik. Now, can their last player be like I forgot his name, Nico. Actually, can the last player be like Nico in the first game of Erangel? Oh, sorry, first game of Sanhok, and can he do it? And
My check,
man,
my check, my
if you
check, my
guys
check.
know what just happened in that play zone, you will know that this Erangel game is about to be FUN.
Absolutely right. In a beautiful cluster that we've seen so far, four portions enjoying this little high ground position they've got just outside of Pachinki. Again, a lot of teams do love to play around these parts, but it requires a lot, to keep this position. But we've seen foul play. They have Regioso. He's got it in him. He's got that ability. He's got that firepower. But they need a lot more to be done to keep themselves out of that bottom 10. Again, or rather that bottom 6. So right now they are very, very touchable by Harsh Esports. Hopefully that is not going to be the case. But Neon Rising and the rest of the teams that are sitting in that little bubble up top, this game means way more to them, than to those teams that are sitting in that middle position.
And this is going to be a very hard game for all of these teams. That play zone doesn't even have as much grounds to play. All 16 teams are still alive. It's going to get really choked up. And this is one of the first times that I'm not really seeing these teams play on the edge. And the reason why they can't do that is because as you're getting there, there is a team there waiting for you. You need to keep moving, and everyone does seem to be sending it relatively close to that PlayStation, or sorry, to that gas station around the bridge. This is going to be a very tough game for these teams.
Yeah, too tough, too tough. And the likes of Vortex coming off that chicken dinner, I believe their morale should be through the moon if they can make sure that they don't crumble under the pressure. Again, most of the things that they've seen so far has proven to them that they've got what it takes. If they can at least, reduce that deficit between themselves and the guys from Three Crown Esports, they could have something special. But Neon Rising, that last game they were really, really good. Hoda was that guy beaking a lot of work, and that is what we love to see. But now they need to do it again and again to somehow break into that top 5. AOD just 1 point in front of them, and now even the guys from Dark Knights still very touchable right now. But will they be touched?
That is the question we've got. Speaking of touch me from Tribe Warriors is here. DBS in hand, looking for a knock but cannot find someone. Grenades are starting to fly into the building. It's connecting, but it's not doing too much damage. The third party comes through for 10-11 ecstasy. And Tribe Warriors go out. First team out of the lobby in the second game of the day. That does not bid well for them. But do you know who's happy? It is Dark Knights, because right now it's Uno Reverse from Sanhok, and they will try to get those points.
Yeah, they will absolutely try to get those points. I mean, the Tribe Warriors have been absolutely hurt right now. They will have to rethink their options and cook something very, very, very nasty in the next game. But it's not over just yet. Hopefully, foul play and ecstasy do not give them a ridiculous gap, going forward. But eyes will be on the prize regardless. Dark Knights are going to love this. They've seen it. All they have to do now is reduce the deficit. Same thing for AOD, same thing for Neon Rising, same thing for Three Crown Esports.
And Tribe Warriors would be like, of all the games to go down, it shouldn't have been this one. I was about to say when they were going for that push, are you sure you're not biting off more than you can chew? And I feel like the reason why they went so aggressive on that push was because they got the first knock already, and I think they knew who they were up against, being Harsh Sports. And I felt like, obviously you're top three, and then you're like, oh my god, we're taking out the team who is currently sitting down on, further bottom of the leaderboard. I think we can take this fight, but it looks like 10-11 ecstasy. We're like, you know what? We are here to play saviors.
Yes, sir. They have saved Archie Sports, and Archie Sports are probably going to be grateful for that one. But it looks like COB in the vicinity trying to get a piece of the action as well. Neon Rising and four portions. This could be one for the books. Beekeeper looking for an entry inside. He has the DBS. He's swinging it from side to side, and he's trying to close this down. That guy also applying some pressure from that hillside position. Neon Rising looking they're looking very, very comfortable in that position. It looks like Three Crowns and Dark Knights will be trading blows here. This is not what Dark Knights wanted. They're losing out. Again, there could be some pressure being held on here by Beekeeper if he can get some of this honey. But again, that could be an opportunity for them. That's a big grenade over to the subside, and he does connect. Ace could be a little bit of a back and forth here, but Archie Sports, they will not escape. They will go back into the lobby. That guy's still trying to hold the high ground and that hillside position, but four portions will not let this one slide.
And this is where it starts to get confusing for Neon Rising, because you can tell that they are stuck in between, should we push this fight and or should we hold this high ground. But then again, that guy, if you have a vehicle, you might want to slam it. But man, speaking of things, Dark Knights, who are supposed to get more points in this game, they are starting to lose points as they're down. But the Beekeeper, he is doing the work. 2 knocks have been found, and the DBS would have been 2 thirsts as well. 4 portion are starting to crumble. They're down to just the last player in Chapel, and now that guy is here. He wants the rest of this elimination. Pops in from the side, takes a couple shots, gets some damage done. But he's going to be the full push. That guy, he's feeling like it. Coming in from the side, UMP in the hands. Is it going to be enough for El Chapo to hold down the points? As they're looking for fingers, they're looking for nails, they're looking for toes, and they will eventually find the player, and El Chapo falls. 4 portions out in 13th place.
Oh, unfortunately for El Chapo, he couldn't dig his way out of that one. Ha ha ha. If you know, you know. But unfortunate scenes for the guys from Four Portions. They do lose out, and that is an unfortunate scenario. Them and Hershey Sports both calamitously leave the lobby, giving space for the likes of Ragnar to turn things around. But right now, Amar has put on his dancing shoes, and he's absolutely cooking 5 eliminations out of the total 6 for Ecstasy. And Ecstasy, again, they have started dance that tune. They have started to turn into the DJ. They are starting to put blood on the dance floor, and I'm the one that is scratching that disc and keeping the opposition at bay. Foul play need to be very careful. They cannot allow Ecstasy to rain on their parade.
And if you've been watching the NPL for a while, you've seen this game before. You've seen this move coming through from Ecstasy before, and it looks like they're just playing the script all over again. They're pushing in from that eastern side of the circle. The zone has shifted further towards the towards the west, and you can just see foul play, make that 10-11 Ecstasy starting to push into the lobby slowly but surely. But foul play might find themselves in trouble now. They have to ward off 10-11 Ecstasy and Club of Ballers at the same time. Both teams still up as a full squad. Foul play realizing that is too dangerous, and they'll be getting out of dodge.
Oh yeah, Foul Play made the right call here. They could have been caught in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The club of ballers could have potentially balled on them. Now Ecstasy, they might want a piece of this, but I gotta respect it. I gotta respect COB for their first time in the NPL, getting to the finals, turning up. It is absolutely incredible how far they have come. They have they were really struggling in the earlier stages of the NPL, but they didn't let that stop them. They continued to put it on. They were one of those teams that just love landing on other teams because they didn't really care. They faced off with Neon Rising, faced off with Foul Play, they faced off with Ecstasy all time and time again, but they did not waver. They did not change their spot. Sometimes we'll call it stronger, sometimes we'll call it stubbornness, but they kept doing that just so they could read the way these guys play and now master how to play defensively against them. And I think it has worked. I don't think COB finishes at the bottom at the end of today.
Well, we hope so. We hope not, but I'm seeing the way RT Sports is already playing this game. They already lost one player early on now. It's already looking like Global Ballers indeed might not actually finish in 16 because that gap isn't even too far. RT Sports pick up the devil and they shall show as they try to find their way into the circle. Everyone seems to be heading towards the fairy pair, but man, it might not be as fun as it's looking. This is a very tricky circle to play, and everyone else looking to just play quite reserved right now because really there isn't too much you can do. But foul play are in danger or were in danger, and now they're starting to feast on the side of RFT Esports.
Yeah, absolutely right. They are feasting and they are loving this minute after minute, second after second. They will not stop, and that is what we love to see. The play zone, however, will continue its descent down all the way to this team. COB on the other side. I think there is a high ground position, one interesting high ground spot that can be held here, but I don't think COB are aware of it. I think that could have been something special for them if they did manage to circle back on it, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. We're going to think about this one now, but Amar, it looks like he wants this. He wants to close this down, and this could be something special for Ecstasy.
And that is peak scouting coming through from Amar there. Look at him just driving around trying to see if he can get some more information as to what is going on in that area. Club Ebola do have a very strong position in the circle, and you can tell, and that is why the side there of 10-11 Ecstasy are looking for that position. Dream Team, they need to get their move on. Afro Esports, or sorry, make that RT Sports are able to find a place on that beach, but then that is not gonna hold on for too long. There isn't too many places that you can play, but then again, this circle, there's too many teams alive to hold on in this circle right now.
Yeah, way too many teams alive, if you ask me. Arab T are going to struggle really, really hard, especially with the fact that they've only got two players. So they have been really struggling in this finals, and they've not been able to find their rhythm. But right now, Three Crown Esports are starting to find their eliminations. Nexus has turned up the heat, and that is what we love to see. They are not backing it off at all. And this is a team that is coming in from winning ways. They did get themselves a top three finish in one competition like that, and they turned up. But now Dream Team, can they turn up? Pharaoh, will he let Storm go? Not this time. B gets the drop on him as well from that left-hand side. He doesn't have the idea. Storm goes back into the lobby courtesy of Nickel, and Vortex are loving this. They are absolutely loving this, but Peter gets the drop on Pharaoh, and now can he chase him down, or will he be able to close this out? Nickel already making the advance over to that left-hand side, but Peter's aware, tries to hold it on. Big spray over to the top side, doesn't connect, but Nickel will keep his attention over to that side, making it hard for him to get the flush.
Side of Vortex have no choice but to move. The play zone is starting to move, and this is not one of those very nice circles. And he's having to move towards the rest of his teammates so they can form up into the circle, but that is not going to be too fun. He's looking to go for that revive, and I think Dream Team are quite aware of that being happening. It is a 2v2 right now. Lee is out here, and he's getting pushed by Peter. Peter from the floor stands up and gets that knock. He would get that one, and Lee now has to just get out of dodge and try to see if he can survive as a solo.
Oh, Vortex. They've learned the hard way that it's not every time Pharaoh will save you. This time around, they will get the short end of the stick courtesy of Dream Team. Dream Team starting to find their rhythm as well, but they've lost two in that exchange. Or rather, they lost one. They did enter the game as three. Again, another deficit for them. Arab T, I'm not sure what the strategy is, but it is not going to work. Again, Three Crown Esports in a beautiful position. That southwestern side could work for them if they can find a position top draw. Neon Rising, front foot. Again, that guy has been knocked away, but hopefully he will be getting picked up. Neon Rising going to think long and hard about how they want to defend this position. Bedu now, grenade in hand, tries to charge it through. That's a big grenade over to the top side. Might connect if he bounces it with the right angle, but fortunately for Neon Rising, they did have the answers. They will have the positions on lock, and they will fall all the way back. But Play with Stowe still knocked away, and hopefully he will be getting picked up just in time.
They need to get this revive, and I feel so bad for the side of foul play because right now they need to grab as many eliminations as possible. And I'm keeping my eye out on the side of Club Ballers because Club Ballers has such a strong position; they can farm a lot of damage. Unfortunately, that is going to be so hard for them to do because Ecstasy, being that team that is knocking just right in your backyard, is going to make things very, very hard for you. But as you did mention, Three Crown Esports, they are holding a very nice position on that western edge.
And it could work for them, though. Going to the final phase of the circle, you can see that COB also in that eastern side of the zone. Ecstasy probably going to have some questions. Hopefully, they will be able to answer. But right now, Ragnar, they have a very nice spot if they can make a rotation and get themselves just in front of foul play and Neon Rising, or decide to third party this. But that guy continues to charge the grenade again. He has the angle. That's a big drop immediately for that guy. Neon Rising goes prone immediately as well to keep the pressure off. Foul play are not going to hold this one out. They will not stop. Beekeeper has been knocked away and he has to be picked up. He's a front man. He's a front runner trying to spin it through. Goes for the finish. Goes for the drop. And finally will get Beekeeper picked up. But this is something so diabolical. That's another grenade. The pressure continues. Ragnar, surely they know now this is the perfect time for them to get a piece of the action. But will they make the right choice?
Will they make the right choice is real. Ragnar starting to push in, but guess who else is pushing in? It is going to be the side of Ecstasy, trying to see if they can make it into the circle, as they would not be fighting with Club of Ballers anymore. Zone does move, and now it's no longer fun. That guy needs to make a move ASAP. Ragnar starting to feel the heat of the circle. Ghost would fall as that guy trying to see if he can clean up the pieces. He has to do this even if it's the last thing he does, but unfortunately he falls. 4 eliminations is all they'll be able to get, and they will be getting sent back and out into the lobby. But Club of Ballers now have to hold 10-11 Ecstasy, who are now the ones playing gatekeepers. 2 grenades into that little ditch, and they are starting to crumble down to 3 more players, and now they have to find their way into that new circle with 10-11 playing gatekeeper.
Yeah, big gatekeeping from 10-11 Ecstasy. They are looking very good, but COB are also looking very good. Ragnar as well, but unfortunately for them, they might be going out. If they can't circle it back, they do go out again. Things are looking very, very uncomfortable for their positions. They're trying to hold it in. Afro Esports on the other side are keeping the pressure on. They're trying to make their way into the zone. This is the type of circle they love. This is the type of circle they thrive in. But will they thrive, Crown? COB as well. Will they be able to make their way into the zone from this treacherous position?
We're starting to see smokes come through from the side of Club of Ballers, and you know that they just want to get into the zone. But 3 Crown Esports already up to 10 eliminations. They are not backing down, and they're not letting go. We highlighted Nexus earlier on today, and now he's already starting to put in the work. 6 eliminations, and they've got eyes. They can see everyone in the circle, but will they bite off more than they can chew? Afro Esports is also still alive, and they have a very strong position as well. Ecstasy is still alive. These are big guns still alive in this final circle.
Yeah, the hoes gonna love this one for sure. Afro Esports trying to keep it on. Bego sends a couple more shots, but the grenade is perfectly launched. Oh, what a grenade from Squash. He closes it down. Afro Esports are turning this around. Ecstasy over to the back end there. Pride Boy goes for the drop. He sends them one by one into the lobby now. Another victim will join the ranks. Afro Esports trying their best to hold on. Grenades flying from all angles. COB continue to keep this pressure on. They have been sure of Ecstasy's position, and now they are utilizing 4 players up. Pride Boy trying to go with the brother. Spins right through over to the right-hand side. Cobb, X, again, playing through from the south. He's trying to get the angle. Playing it through again over to the top side. And now Pride Boy will try again. He does get the drop. Squad, unfortunately, Merrick will down his number. That's 12K. Over to the right-hand side again. COB trying to reap where they did not so, but Traitor, so traitorous. Again, gets him knocked away. COB trying to hold it on. And can they get their numbers up? Afro Esports over to the northern side, Crowns.
Afro Esports falls, 10-11 fall as well. We are down to Global Ballers up against 3 Crowns in what seems to be a 4v4 showdown. One team that has been dominating on the west, and the other team that has just been waiting on the east. But the side of 3 Crown Esports, 14 eliminations. Their blood is pumping. They have the momentum, and they start to take the shots. But Global Ballers are playing this one so reserved, so conservative. They've done so much damage, and they will find the first knock onto Nexus, but it's a trade. They're going to have to hold it up. The smokes are coming out. 3 Crown Esports, what is your move?
Oh, big moves. They could be asking for a lot right now. Enjoy trying to get his way through. Nexus is the victim of circumstance, but Quilla is there to open the calling. Again, Vix will be swept away. Instant gratification for Quilla. And COB trying to hold this down. X does have 1 elimination so far. His position has not been compromised just yet, but 3 Crown Esports are looking for a way to finish. And that's another opportunity again. Try spray, and X gets wrapped away. Zaza to follow through again. Big moves from 3 Crown Esports. And that is a perfect draw. Enjoy. He's not going to enjoy this. He goes back into the lobby with the quickness. Grenade over to the top side. Crocs back go down. That's a big grenade again. Merrick trying to keep the pressure on. Another grenade. And a last grenade for good measure. 3 Crown Esports crown that chicken dinner on their heads, and it is absolutely well deserved.
That is a chicken dinner that would skyrocket them on the leaderboards. They got upwards of 17 eliminations. What a way to play! They were absolutely on fire. They started the game off on an aggressive note, going for the center of the circle, taking out teams around that center, going towards that western edge. And they continued to dominate on the west till they finally made it. I said it, they could see everyone. They had the sights on every single person in the lobby, and they were able to grab themselves this chicken dinner in a beautiful fashion as well.
Absolutely incredible performance from Three Crown Esports. Well deserved. Enjoy Merrick, Quilla, and Nexus putting performance for the books. This catapults them into a deep, steep, top draw performance, and it is well absolutely deserved. But that is what we love to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the action is just starting. This is match number 2, Crowns. There is a lot of time to cover the grounds.
There really is a lot of time. There really is a lot of time to catch up. I mean, a couple of those teams on the top did do well. Did do well in this game. But with Three Crown Esports pulling up these kind of numbers, it gives you a reason to shake at the top. 6 grenade eliminations coming through from this game has really not get as much as in the last game. And to be honest, I'm not even going to blame these teams. This zone was so chaotic. Like, look at how 10, 11 XTC went out. Whoever is knocking you is not who is testing you. The person that threw the grenade that took you to 50 HP is not the person that threw the grenade that knocked you. It was such a chaotic finish, and you just have to give it to Club of Ballers for actually holding on so well in that circle. Unfortunately, momentum was what they needed in that final push against the side of Three Crown Esports, but Three Crown Esports had it all in the bag.
And that's what we love to see. 3,000 worth of damage points. These guys did not come to play at all. XTC wailing in proposition again. The actual position that they've been trying to work through, that is looking very, very uncomfortable for the likes of XTC. They did put some good numbers on the board, but not what Three Crown Esports have done. They need a lot of ground to cover here, and that is what we love to see. But ladies and gentlemen, it is the party. It is the final, and nobody is taking this lightly.
Nobody is taking it lightly at all. Merrick looking for a way into that top players, as he's able to get himself 6 eliminations, 800 damage, assisting the team with 3 eliminations. Healed under 11 times, 6 knocks. You love to see that one coming in through from Three Crown Esports. As I said, they were absolutely on fire, and it's interesting to even see Merrick be the MVP of this game, because I mean, even on Three Crown Esports, we had Nexus, who was also able to get himself 6 eliminations. It was such a great showing coming in through from the team. Now, can they keep up with the momentum? Can they continue to rise to the top of the leaderboard? Because right now everyone needs to shake, and if there's someone else that should be shaking as well, it is Foul Play. Because as much as 10-11 XTC got themselves quite a number of points in this game, Foul Play went out relatively early. So now 10-11 with 12 points, they're starting to close that gap as well.
Yeah, the gap is looking thinner by the minute, and that is what we love to see in a final. It is anybody's game. You know, no team has ever won both the Harmattan split and the Rain split in the same season, and it looks like XTC could do that, but not with teams like Three Crown Esports, Tribe Warriors, AOD, and Foul Play standing in front of them, you know, standing between them and that championship position. But it is one thing that we love to see, you know, Nexus putting in that work. He has found his form, and what a time to find his form.
Definitely what a time to find out. Speaking of players finding their form, Amar already get himself 5 eliminations. We did see him have 20 eliminations, and top 1 in terms of MVP rankings currently has 30 points. So you do know that he's starting to work his way up, and we know, as you said, 10-11, once they wake up, he said he's put up his dancing shoes, and whenever Amar does that, he might start to do the numbers. I'd like to see how that battle for the overall top players goes in this lobby.
Yeah, big game for all of these teams. They're keeping the pressure on each other. 28 points, Crowns. Big numbers for Three Crown Esports. Again, pressure. Pressure is not for tires this time around. Ecstasy are feeling it. You know, Afro Esports also putting in that work. COB, I told you, they will not finish today at the bottom, and we're already starting to see that, but there could be more to be done. Dream Team, unfortunately, getting swapped out earlier on. Neon Rising as well, not being able to clutch those double digits, but they're not too far away. Ragnar also putting in some good points across the board, and that could help them, you know, in the final third, getting into that grand final. Remember, It is all about the grand final at this stage. The fans' favorite is coming up. So eyes will be on the prize, ladies and gentlemen. Do not forget that.
And one thing, or one team that should not forget something, is Tribe Warriors. They did not put enough points up on board in this game. So best believe there's people who are starting to chase. And speaking of chase, for that battle for MVP, foul play, Station 5, able to find his way up to the top. In case you're wondering, it doesn't have as much eliminations, but look at those damage numbers coming through from that player. You know he's absolutely cooking. Amar looking to get closer and closer. We've not really seen Darkness. And in all honesty, we've not really seen the side of Dark Knights today. 2 games back to back where they've not been able to put up good numbers up on board. Could this be the decline? With the way they're playing right now, I wouldn't be surprised if when we see the overall rankings, we see the side of 3 Crowns already above them.
Yeah, it could be something very dastardly for them. We're about to see what the leaderboard says. I mean,
Yep.
you were right. Tribe Warriors, 3 Crown Esports, all of these teams have now started to put their foot on the gas. 3 Crown Esports with 99 points, almost at 100. I mean, today could have been something incredible. The Tribe Warriors are still not backing down. 92 points to the good. Dark Knights as well, not too far away. Neon Rising also with the mix. I mean, it is a big opportunity for any of these teams to lock in. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is 2 games down now. And the third one is down on the way. It is going to be another piece of Airgale action. So do not touch the dial. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. We'll see you in match number 3.
I know many are wondering and they're like, oh my god, can we see Priest? No. Deal with me and deal with these teams, because our faces is not even what matters right now. What really matters is the fact that things are getting locked and loaded. Priest, back-to-back Erangel game. First Erangel was an absolute menace of a game. What are your expectations going into the second game? Oh, sorry,
I mean,
third
I'm
game.
expecting more. I'm expecting more of the same. This is going to be the last Erangel of the
Mm.
NPL reign split, and everybody's going to try to make it their own. I'm expecting some turbulence. I'm expecting turmoil. I'm expecting tumultuousness, and I'm going to be there front and center.
And speaking of center, that playing path is going to be nicer in this Erangel game. The last Erangel game, we saw it very, very harsh, which kind of dictated the game from the start. But now we're going into a fair Erangel circle. And now I want to see a fair Erangel playing path. Now I want to see where these teams will land, because I saw some odd drop locations in that first Erangel game. And now I'm looking at this second Erangel game. What is happening, or what is going to happen? Where would we see these teams land? Tribe Warriors, we saw them go towards Jojo Pole in that first game. Would they do that again? It's looking like that is the case.
Yeah, it's actually looking like that will be the case, though. But remember, it's all about how you position yourselves in the final third of the game. Right now, Ecstasy will be going to Yasnaya for sure. That is their bread and butter. They love that position. Dark Knights playing inside Primorsk, a little bit towards the southwestern side, and that could work for them. AOD also in a split in the western position. Dream Team in a sandwich here. It's not looking too good for them in that southwestern corner, but we are going to see for ourselves if that is going to be the case. But right now, COB finding themselves a little bit of a drop position inside of the hospital. I think they will be fine here, uncontested, but we'll see if they manage to skedaddle their way without, getting choked up by the likes of Luick and Tribe Warriors.
Yeah, definitely. But one thing that I'm keeping my eye out on, other than that nice play zone, is the fact that there is a team in Pochinki with the side there of foul play. I'm not quite able to make out who is there with them, but this is going to be a tricky one, because I mean, if it is one of those, oh, indeed it is. I was gonna say, if it is one of those teams who is like middle belts to like further down in the leaderboard, foul play you might have to lock in, because these teams are looking to play spoiler. I don't even know what I'll call it. This is not even devil. What is called dark horse. They are playing spoiler right now.
Yeah, after that chicken dinner that they secured, I believe they probably believe right now that anything is possible and you can't be any more right. But foul play need a lot to go their way in this game right now. Ecstasy have reduced the deficit to just 3 points, and Three Crown Esports have also reduced a major deficit now to just roughly 17 points. Again, there could be a lot of work here required for the likes again to make that through. Play with Souls actually spots Lee, and a couple more shots over to that top side, doesn't connect, but he will try again. Grenade from Lee here. Foul play. They gotta be careful. V4M, they don't give a they don't care. They don't care. That is the danger of a team like this. They know that it is possible. Again, they have eliminated this team in a 1v4 before. We saw it happen in Sanhok. So they know that these guys are very, very touchable.
And you can see the prowess at which V4M is pushing the side of foul play, forcing foul play to fall back down. Lee definitely knows there's someone there, and this grenade might just do it. It is a good one. First one gets Who gets the bounce? It doesn't get it now. Jojo is pushing. He knows damage has to be done. He's down.
Oh, that was very unfortunate again. Souls actually goes for the finish again, plays into the corner there. The S12K and the DBS trying to lock it in and lock it through, but Bedu has a beautiful cover position. Plays on over as well, onto the right hand side, but that is a beautiful spray from Bedu. He will make him dance to the beat again, but now foul play is going to be a hard push for them. Grenade is going to be the only answer. Lee continues to apply some pressure to keep the rest of the guys from foul play at bay. Oh, that's unfortunate. Again, had no idea. Foul play now, utilizing this. Play with Souls over to the top side again, trying to keep the pressure on. Souls again, beautiful drop, foul play, clean sweep, and Vortex will be swallowed whole. Foul play showing exactly what they are absolutely made of.
Talk about a wonderful cover fire coming in through from foul play. That was absolutely wonderful. In the gutters of Pochinki, and they're able to tell this idea of V4M, we are the owners of Pochinki. We do not want to see you here anymore. But then again, V4M don't have too much to lose. But then again, as much as we're saying you don't have too much to lose, remember, there is grand final points on the line. every point counts. You need to put in those numbers. You need to put in those points right now. So that is one team that is out, and now every other person needs to lock in. And Luke Esports, I'm keeping my eye out on them. Would they try to go for a very adventurous or overzealous push again in this game?
Yeah, I mean, eyes will be on them for sure. Again, AOD slipping away. You know, they've not been able to secure any meaningful points since the beginning of this day three. But it is not over just yet for them. Hopefully, they will be able to find their rhythm, and this might be the time they find the Dream Team on the other side as well. I'm not sure they're aware that Sad is there. Dream Team could capitalize on this, but Sad has been discovered, and Westco could have an opportunity here to open the scoring for AOD.
Ah, man, can Wesco actually get it? Does he get it right? I mean, they did a nice play. I didn't know that Monster Truck had a little bit of autopilot because that truck was moving on its own. But Dream Team realized that they're getting pushed, and their first instinct is to fall back a little bit. But the audio cues, I think Sad's position has been discovered. That's a good grenade. Maybe a smoke onto the side of Storm. It's going to force him to move. And now he knows where that player is, but Sad now he's got a grenade. He's looking good. It looks like he has an idea of where that player is. The shots are coming in through, but the damage is not
Mm.
quite done just yet. Wesco sends a grenade out to the side. He needs to start cooking this thing. Oh, no, that's a smoke. Yeah, trying to force out motion there. Oh, wait, that is a nade?
And he came a little bit too late, if you ask me. Wesco
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel himself right now. He's not looking very confident. Doesn't look like he wants to advance this. And Dream Team could utilize this opportunity there. That was a very close one at all. Again, Dream Team, will they be holding on? That's a very good grenade. But unfortunately, Dream Team will hightail it and get out of dodge. That was very, very close. But they will be making their way into a better position inside of that circle.
That was a nice play coming through from Dream Team, though. Realizing that their teammates cannot form up on them as quickly as they would want, getting into that vehicle and getting out of dodge. You love to see that one, and I think that's what comes through with knowing the surroundings or knowing where you land, knowing how to escape possible fight. But as you did mention at the start of the game, they find themselves in a bit of a sandwich situation. So as much as they're going away from the side of AOD, they might find themselves running into the players there from Dark Knights.
Yeah, big game potentially here for AOD and Dark Knights. All they have to do is keep it pushing. They cannot afford to drop any points. This is going to be the last Erangel of the day. Remember, AOD have been very, very solid in this map, but have they been able to work it around? This day three has been so hectic for them. Hopefully they will be able to find their rhythm. Same goes to Dark Knights. This is a team that won chicken dinners yesterday in back-to-back fashion. What is going on with them today? I believe is the pressure crowns.
Yeah, it definitely is the pressure. We did see Ness being one of those players there in the overall rankings or for top players. And now, today we've not really seen him put in those points. And I'm hoping that this second Miramar game would be second Erangel game would be an awakening for that player and the team as a whole. And another team that has really not been putting up as much points or well, as much as they're putting little by little points up on board, it's not enough. It is Tribe Warriors. They started off as third, and now they're slowly slipping down the leaderboard.
Yeah, slowly. They can't slip away fast enough. Dark Knights are licking their lips in here to get a piece of that top four, at least potentially the top three, if they can turn up and give us one of those performances we saw yesterday. But Three Crown Esports now feeling the pressure from Arab T. Skills does actually get dropped away. Ronnie goes down immediately as well. And Arab T trying to do a little bit of a trade off here with Three Crown Esports. And this is not the team you want to trade off with. And Atarudo continues to mount some of that pressure. Quilla almost getting dispatched from his vehicle. We're going to try again, but that will keep things at bay for him. And Atarudo probably going to get picked up. Too many angles to cover from Three Crown Esports. Probably going to rethink this. If Ronnie can get picked up, this would be a big sigh of relief for Arab T.
And it looks like Three Crown Esports are realizing that there's too much on the line for them to lose. They're looking to get out of dodge. To be honest, they already lost one player in that engagement. Now, this game is not the game where they want to go out early. They're realizing that there's not too many teams that have gone out. But then again, I have to commend that play coming through from RT Esports. That was a very good defense to make sure that Ronnie doesn't get thirsted. And I believe if all things are going as planned, they should be grabbing the revive onto that player anytime soon.
Yeah, but the angles though, they're not too friendly for Arab T, even much less friendly for Three Crown Esports, but it looks like they might want to commit to this. They need those points. And Three Crown Esports, they're looking like a team that's going to play high risk, high reward. Merrick does go for the finish, and Ronnie goes down. It would be a trade off. One for one, a son for a son. Now, Three Crown Esports could capitalize on this position now that they have balanced the scales. But Arab T probably going to reposition themselves and get a little bit deeper into the zone just to hold the lines from that position. But there is still a ways to go. Dark Knights as well, also looking for some more points to add to their tally.
Man, Dark Knights have been chased by AOD all game long, and AOD don't look to want to stop at any time soon. Trap has taken so much damage, but on the other side of things, Harsh Esports, they find themselves on a low ground, or well, low advantage, but they're going up against the side of Tribe Warriors. But Dark Knights still trying to play this defense up against the side of AOD.
Yeah, I mean, you can see AOD struggling though to keep that position at bay, but they are in a good spot. A little bit of an interesting split that they've got for themselves, but it could work if they can isolate one of the guys from Dark Knight and force him inside of the warehouse. And that could be something special. Abubakar also trying to get an angle there to make this work, but the sight lines are too steep. They can't seem to find the angles there. 8-8 also has a dial in position. He could get the drop on Wesco as well, but unfortunately, it's not going to be the case. Dark Knights, now, I don't think they want to commit to this. I think they are trying to prioritize the play zone, and I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, I really would not blame them at all. That play zone is not nice. It is almost like Sanhok. You have to pick. Do you want to go north or do you want to stay south? Every team right now in the lobby is on the south. And it's hard because nobody can say, you know what, let me go towards the north, because it is still a risky play. And that is why this idea of AOD and Dark Knights are trying to get this done as quickly as possible, because they need to start to make the move into the new circle.
Yeah, they need to find an angle to make their rotation out of here before AOD can sniff and get an angle on them. Wesco, oh, he stood a little bit too long there and instantly gets punished by Solo. And Dark Knights, could they capitalize on this? I don't think this is a good call for them. This could be risky, but Dark Knights, they need to take risks. And I don't think Wesco has been picked up just yet, so this could work for them. Again, getting the angles right. Jay with a beautiful drop down position gets the drop now on Darkness, and that's going to be good night for him. Doesn't look like he will be getting picked up. Solo looking for a way through. Abubakar as well. 1 HP. Can Darkness get the angle there? He spots him and he trades them all, but that is going to be a fantastic knock through. But Jay is there with yes of K. Cracks the skull. And that will be another one going down for Dark Knights. AOD starting to wake up, showing why they are the angels of death. They will bring death to your door. And Dark Knights are starting to feel it right now. Trap and Abubakar, the last two left, and AOD have the pressure on them at this moment.
And this is looking like a game that might end so quickly. As you could call, that might have been too much. I think Dark Knights, the play there after getting that knock was to use that as a distraction and find their way into the circle. But man, speaking of circle, there is trouble in the circle. Afro Esports losing players one after the other. Tribe Warrior starting to push up close to them. 24 doesn't spot that player there on the off angle, and he has to hold on the edge as Tribe Warriors have now lost players. And guess who's here for the third party? It is Club of Ballers. They've been balling since the last game, and now they're continuing on that one, but they lose Zaza in the mix. Luik falls down in the mix as well, but Club of Ballers trying to see if they can hold their end on this third party.
Yeah, the third party looking very, very diabolical right now. COB trying to keep it locked in. They are trying to avoid losing any players. A grenade perfectly launched could get the job done. But 24 MVP, oh, what a grenade from him. And that will shut the option right now. Zaza goes down. 24 MVP raising it on. And he had no idea that Squash Boo was strategically waiting and will put those shotgun shells to the back of his skull. And that will be the end of the road for 24 MVP. That one must have really hurt. I can imagine what the voice chat will be saying concerning that one.
He's going to be so pissed, and he cannot rage too much because you can't disturb your teammates. Topsy is also still in the mix. Club of Ballers are still out here trying to see if they can pull up this third party. And in case anyone is wondering, what is so special about this building? This building is what connects both sides together. So if you're able to hold here, if the zone goes up to the north, you're good. If it goes down to the south, you can make that rotation as well. And if it goes anywhere else, it's pretty much easy rotation. But the problem now is, as much as it is easy, it's going to be hard because now you do not have the numbers. And whoop, it's an accident that might start a 1v1, but Trap doesn't seem to want any of that smoke getting into that. Oh, come on, Tom! Jay says, no, you're not going anywhere. Squash is still alive though. Can he pull it off?
Yeah, can he pull it off? That is the question on everyone's mind. Jay, Super J, wearing the cape and raising the adrenaline of the rest of his teammates there, keeping them in the mix. And Arab T now setting sights on foul play. And we've seen them lock horns again and again. Looks like this time Arab T will not be backing down, but Ecstasy just up north of that position. But we're going to get a piece of Afro Esports here and COB at the same time. But foul play will lose one. Potentially, they might lose two as well. Foul play are really struggling here. They need so many points. They need to put the pressure on the likes of Ecstasy and Three Crown Esports. But will they be able to do it, Crowns?
RT Sports looking to rise, but Neon Rising are rising as well as they come through for the third party. RT Sports went into that fight with only 3 players, and right now they're down to 2. Foul play might be able to grab that revive, and I think Neon Rising doesn't want that one to happen as they're tapping away those eliminations. Man, this is starting to be stressful. Anyone who's down below the side of foul play, I'm talking about 3 Crown, Ecstasy, Tribe Warriors, maybe not Tribe Warriors. But anyway, they are starting to see those players go out, and they know exactly what they need to do in this game, not go out early.
Yeah, you can see foul play struggling here. They're losing bodies. Left, right, and center. Arab T playing as a duo, but that has never stopped them before. Again, I've seen this script. I've seen this script. Ecstasy, I've seen this script before. And Three Crown Esports could be in a world of hurt if Ecstasy decide to do what I know they want to do here. There's problems here. They could work this through. Quilla and Enjoy could be running straight into the Lions' Den. If they are not careful, they might be getting uprooted and dispatched from that northwestern side of the play zone if 10-11 Ecstasy want to dial their number.
Yeah, definitely. If they want to dial it, it's gonna get crazy. Every other person needs to get into the circle, and once again, this is a circle where you do not know where you want to be. Do you want to commit to the south, or do you want to commit to that northern side? We're seeing a couple of those teams use the Georgia Pool Bridge to go up to the north, and we do know PUBG Mobile can be a very tricky game, especially with the zones. When everyone chooses to go towards the north, the zone can say "psych" and go down towards the south. But right now is where everyone's gonna have to hold their angles and hold their positions because of how crazy it has been so far. This zone is very big. It can accommodate all the teams, but man, these teams are not looking like they want to share anything.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they want to play nice. Foul play are looking good though. They did manage 7 eliminations in all of this chaos, but in order for them to get that chicken dinner, it has to be a whole lot more. Harsh Esports probably gonna want a piece of this, and it looks like they want it, and they might just get it now. Prime again into the corner again. He makes a mistake, and he turns down 2 for 2, 2 bodies scored, and 3 bodies scored as well. Foul play, squeezing the life out of Harsh Esports, 1 body at a time, and that was the worst push I have seen in a minute.
Your teammate is pushing into a building. Stay with him. Why did you close the door behind him? Nah, that was not fun at all. Indeed, it was a poor push. Monkey's gonna have to run away from here, but foul play. 10 eliminations. You blink, you miss it, because how did this happen? They continue to push that lead on the top of the leaderboard, but then again, they have 10 eliminations with 1 player alive, and 10-11 Ecstasy are still alive as a full squad.
Yeah, 10-11 enjoying this right now. They know that that chicken dinner is potentially imminent, but take a look at Jay, Super J. He has put on his cape, and they are starting to show why they are one of the stronger teams in Erangel. They're trying to show us what the Angels of Death are all about. They're trying to put that pressure again on the likes of Three Crown Esports. They are not too far away. Neon Rising as well. They're putting in good numbers here. 1 more point, and they will clutch into top 6. But let's not forget, Neon Rising still very much at full strength. And they have gotten themselves a couple of eliminations as well to back things up. So there's a lot to be discovered.
Really is a lot to be discovered right here. Neon Rising are still holding on to their end, as you've mentioned. But man, if they try to push into those compounds, 10-11 might hear the noise and come through for third party. So I wonder what their move is. But then again, I mentioned earlier, this zone is big. It really can accommodate all of these teams. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how these teams are going to maneuver their way around the circle. Ragnar, as big as this zone is, the one place they chose to be is in the blue zone. We love to see that one.
I mean, they're siphoning some of that blue juice. But it looks like Neon Rising won a piece of the action as well as a squash. will put some screws to the guys from Neon Rising. They will start to break it down. That guy had no idea what was waiting for him in all of this. But it looks like Squash might be going back into the lobby
E-
anytime soon.
e-
He's taking a hit. Oh, that was very close. That grenade almost put a dent in their aspirations here. Another
uh,
grenade just in the corner. Surely gets the job
e-
done. Couple of inches shy, not enough. He has to move, and he does get out of dodge. Squash trying to ring around the rosy against the guys from Neon Rising. He tries again,
Isolates
tries
them.
to peek it through. Over to the top side again. Jump shot is good. Connects the first, but not this time. Baby will have him crying. Wah, wah, wah.
Man, Squash. He had to hold his head, and now Top C finds himself in the same position that Squash was in. And Neon Rising might just go down. Baby might not have seen him off of that third party view. And these solos, Priest, they are the problems. They really are the problems.
They are. They really are. Squash was constituting a nuisance, for the guys from Tribe Warriors and the guys from Neon Rising as well. But that is what we've seen. If they can keep it up, don't forget, Foul Play have secured themselves 10 eliminations. But that chicken dinner doesn't look like it's going to be a possibility here. Top C could do something absolutely nefarious here if a baby is not careful, and it could work in their favor. It'd probably be nicer for him to swap weapons, though. Probably going to be able to get a spray across that opening, that window just up north in this position again. But Neon Rising, I'm not sure they're aware that Topsy is here, and hopefully he will be able to make it out of this unscathed.
And if he does, that is going to be the play and a half. Unfortunately, he cannot leave this building because this building is in the center of the circle. So really, he has to hold this position, and he really cannot push any of these players. He has to stay as quiet as possible. And you know what they say: if you stay still, or like Drax said, if you stay still for so long, you might actually blend into your surroundings.
Poetic justice. Poetic justice. But Tribe Warriors, how far can they go? 11 teams alive, 25 players in the mix. COB down to just one X over to the top side, trying to keep his team alive here. Neon Rising, they have been battling to hold this position, and they have absolutely defended it, but they have to be careful of Top C. He is going to put a big spanner in their works if they are not careful. Ragnar making it into the zone at the right time, but they now have to make an advance from that position.
Ooh.
Again, Ragnar putting the screws to ecstasy. We've seen this time and time again. They do not stop, but will they be able to get the finish on? Doesn't look like it's going to be a possibility, though. The smoke's already coming out from Trader, and I think ecstasy will be able to get themselves back in full strength.
And there is third party coming in through from foul play. They still have that one player still alive. And they're holding it up. They want those placement points. But right now, if you go out, you get no placement points. 4 portions going out to the play zone. And that's going to be all for them. 10 teams left to hold down the forts in the rest of these games. And that circle does push down south. This is an annoying circle. And now he stands. He takes the shot. Stop C. He's like 24. It was done to him, but can he pull up the clutch? Topsy's got not too much bullets left. He's got one more left. But Kovabola is there for the third party. DPS up against him, and he cannot hold, and he would fall.
Oh, that was very, very close, very dangerous for Neon Rising. Unfortunately for them, they will lose yet another body. We saw that happening, and unfortunately, they did not sweep the room, and they will pay the ultimate price. And now, big opportunities regardless. We are going to keep eyes on the prize. Moving to those positions. Dream Team looking very good here, but again, no play zone, no party, and it's going to be a very, very hard one. Someone said Dream Team can never win when there is no bridge involved.
Well, this time there is a bridge. There is one bridge, but they're not close to the bridge. 10-11 Ecstasy are on their necks, but 10-11 have been reduced to just 2. They have 0 eliminations so far, which will explain why they're really, really going close to the side of Dream Team. They know they need those eliminations as well. Peter has been spotted. The run over doesn't quite come through. Yo-Yo Trader comes out, but not fast enough as he falls. 10-11 Ecstasy not reading this one quite well, as Crusader will be left. And I think if we were to name this game of Erangel, we would name it solos, because right now there is so many solos and duos left in this game. Foul play falls.
Yeah, foul play escorted out of the lobby. They did manage to get 10 eliminations there to put some more distance between themselves and Ecstasy. Ecstasy now have to be very careful. dealing with the likes of Three Crown Esports, who are chasing and trying to run them down with 3 eliminations in the bag. But unfortunately, Harsh Esports have Monkey to put some major screws in their plans, and that could be something. But it looks like Ecstasy will capitulate, and back into the lobby they will go. Big opportunity now for Three Crown Esports to pick it up, and that will be the end of the road.
And Three Crown Esports, with the way they're playing right now, you know they definitely saw that elimination. They know that one of the players or teams right above them is out of the lobby. But Ragnar, they have been troublesome for the entirety of this lobby, and they would not die. They would not go down. Still have 3 players up, but it looks like Ghost might just get thirsted there. But man, Club of Ballers, this solo in X. Club of Ballers, this solo in X could be a problem for the side of Neon Rising.
Yeah, it could be a major problem because he has secured some major placement points for his team here. Could add over to the assault that he could be laying down against the likes of Neon Rising, and Ragnar as well. But it doesn't look like he's been able to make a move there. I'm not sure Beekeeper is aware that he's here. Beekeeper is not aware. This could be something diabolical if Beekeeper is not aware of this potential trouble. Baby gets knocked away deep inside by Wesco, and AOD starting to taste the blood. They're trying to enjoy that position that they've got so far, and this could be something special for them going into the final third.
The zone has gone to the south, and it favors the side there of Three Crown Esports, who are currently up by 4 eliminations. 3 players still alive, and all they have to deal with is solos and duos left in the lobby. To be honest, I really don't see this game going away from their fingers. Beekeeper is going to try to make it into the circle as well. Wesco trying to see if he can play with the smokes, but he's trying to make it in. Beekeeper has been spotted. The headshots are connecting, and Enjoy don't miss. Shooting practice for them. Neon Rising 4. We're down to the 4 teams left.
Oh, Three Crown Esports, they smell it. They can smell the chicken dinner. And this could be something special for them. Back-to-back chicken dinners in Erangel. Who wouldn't love that? X finally succumbs to his injuries. Did get into the top 4. It's AOD also getting into the top 3. This could be something special for them. Three Crown Esports in a 2-1 split. Quilla playing just a little bit towards the northern side, trying to keep the rest of the opposition outside the play zone. Could speak something special for them. But Ragnar also looking for a way to get inside the zone, but Three Crown Esports have every single position on lock.
We did see a solo spoil things for foul play in the first game of the day. We've seen a solo spoil things, or we've seen solos actually spoil things for teams like Tribe Warriors, Neon Rising in this same game. Would these solos be able to hold it up against the side of Three Crown Esports, who have a very solid position? Unfortunately, sidelines would not be their advantage. They cannot really see many of these snakes in the grass. And Ragnar, they've been troublesome. Might they be the one to take this away from Three Crown, preventing that back-to-back chicken?
I mean, Ragnar looking good, but again, the play zone is not favorable for them at all, and they do struggle with rotations. If they do have enough smokes, maybe they could do something here. If they decide to crash the party and deal with Quilla, maybe this could turn out to be something, or they could wait Quilla out and allow the play zone to drive him inside, but it could be something special. Oh, water spray. Quilla, big Quilla on the microphone. He's singing it, and they are feeling it over to that left-hand side. Ragnar in trouble. Quilla pops into the smoke, doesn't give away his angles, but Wesco's also there, a big threat. Grenade could launch right through, but Alucard will not be getting picked up this time around. Spotted over to the right-hand side, and that will be the end of the road. Three Crown Esports adding onto their tallies. Wesco plays off into the right outside, and that will be a first drop. There's trouble right now, but he's exposed, and Wesco comes out to get the finish. Trouble right now for AOD. They're trying to pack it in, they're trying to hold it on, but that is a grenade and a half, and it does connect. Three Crown Esports back to back chicken dinner. The top teams have to be scared now, Crowns.
They really have to be scared. They're putting in the numbers, and it looks like they're waking up. We've got 2 games left to go, and one of those games happens to be Miramar. That's if it's not even 2 Miramars left. But Three Crown Esports are able to do it now in back-to-back fashion. Man, what a game we're seeing. Unfortunately, Wesco was not able to hold it on. Wani was not able to pull in that clutch factor, but right now it is trouble for the top teams right now, as Three Crown Esports seem to be on a steady climb.
Big climb for Three Crown Esports right now. That is a wrap for the Erangels of the night. Two more Miramars to prove their worth, but what a time to be alive. Three Crown Esports showing exactly why they are one of the best. They are easily one of the stronger teams in the lobby, and everybody is about to find out why.
Definitely, we did say they're a team that we know to be very powerful. They did not start things off quite strong here in the Rain Split finals, but right now it looks like they're starting to climb up. But then, Priest, this is where we start to ask the question to teams like Three Crown Esports: might it be too late? Might they be waking up a little later than they should have? 6,000 in healing from this map alone. You can tell just how much shooting was done in this game. Man, head to head, Three Crown Esports and AOD. Priest, walk us through.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very, very solid game for AOD, finally stepping into their era of that Erangel ability. Super J activating himself some of that Super Cape juice, putting it and carrying his team across the finish line, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Can they make it into the top three? I'm not sure. But it is not over just yet. Play with Souls, the MVP, doing a monstrous amount of damage with 6 eliminations. I mean, 24 minutes on the clock. He was a big dog for the guys from Foul Play, but it's not over. They did manage 10 eliminations, but there's still a ways to go, Crowns.
Definitely, there's still ways to go there. That chase is still on. 10 eliminations, but not too much. I don't think they got any placement points from this game. So as much as they might have boosted themselves up with 10 points, man, with the likes of Three Crown Esports still putting numbers up on board, 10-11 did go out as well. So, man, they might be running away with it, but with how Three Crown Esports is playing so far, they might not just be running away with it as we think.
You're absolutely right. And don't forget, it is going to be Miramar up next. But Three Crown Esports have put their stamp on it, 17 points. AOD with 14, the best they have had today, putting themselves just within reach of the likes of those top 4 teams. But the road ahead is still long and narrow. Will they be able to find their way into that top 3? Well, we will keep our eyes rolling. But Tribe Warriors, again, slipping all the way down. Foul Play did manage 10 points to the good. Neon Rising as well with 8. Ragnar putting 5 through, and don't forget COB yet again getting more points than Arab T. It is looking very, very dire for Arab T Crowns, Afro Esports as well, and Ecstasy, possibly their worst game of today.
Man, and we're saying dire things. We're looking at Dark Knights as well, because Dark Knights were only able to get themselves 1 elimination, 1 point in this game. And if you don't know what that means, it means that Neon Rising is knocking. Neon Rising is going to climb above them, and I'm looking forward to seeing what those overall rankings look like right now.
Will be.
And anyway, it looks Yes, sir. Production is eating right now. And guess who else is eating? It is Three Crown Esports as they've gotten themselves back to back chicken dinner. The question is, can they give us a turkey in this final day of the finals of the rain split? We'll find out real soon. Priest, how are you feeling so far?
I mean, I'm on edge right now. After that back-to-back chicken dinner, I just know the top two teams are shivering in their boots. Foul play and ecstasy. I just know for a fact they are really, really struggling. To keep the pressure off themselves. I know they felt that chicken dinner. I just know, but now. What will they do about it? Remember, this is Miramar now, and this is Ecstasy and Neon Rising at peak form. Will Three Crown Esports put a pedal to the metal and put some more screws in their plans? Well, we are about to find out.
You know who is putting the screws in everyone's plans? It is PUBG Mobile themselves. As this playing zone is this playing path is terror. It's a headache for the teams. If you land in Torre Ahumada, El Azahar, Mina, San Martin, wow. Impala, these are places that you can't really get to. And once again, this playing path is already forcing these teams to make tough decisions from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, very, very tough decisions. Now they have to be very careful. They cannot afford to lose out this early. Foul play cannot afford to slip up. Ecstasy as well, Three Crowns as well. They cannot afford to slip up. Neon Rising, Tribe Warriors, AOD, all of these teams, they cannot afford to make any mistakes. And this would be the game that decides their fate. Will they be able to find themselves in the final third and put some distance between the rest of themselves and the opposition?
These are actually the questions that we're asking because I'm really looking at this playing path and I just can't see it going all south. I see another team there with foul play and I'm hoping it is not. It is looking like it is who landed on them in the first game again. It's looking like it is V4M again, and this time they're already on the losing end. They've lost one player in Lee, and this is not fun anymore because now they're ruining it for the teams who are in second position, trying to find their way up to the top of the leaderboard. Because right now, you might just be donating eliminations to foul play, and bro, see this zone.
Oh my goodness, what a zone we have. What a friend we have in Jesus, ladies and gentlemen. The action does not stop here. We are seeing something incredible. Foul play already on the front foot. They did manage to get a knock on V4M, but it is not enough. They couldn't get the finish. Lee has been granted a second chance, but will he be able to capitalize on it? We've seen Vortex put the screws to foul play before. Will they be able to do it again, though?
Vital questions being asked by Priest. They didn't do it out there in Erangel. And now they're back for revenge here on the map of Miramar. Can they pull it off? They're already down at the advantage by losing one player, but it looks like the revives has come up and foul play this time. They know they have to play this carefully. But can they play the same thing? Because in Erangel, the bait and switch works for this idea of foul play. Are they going to try the bait and switch again here in the map of Myanmar? It is Picado. It's a different sight line. It's a different side.
Yeah, very different, Picado, um, if they can keep the advantage of information that they have, because foul play, the way we've been seeing them play, this last day of the final is all about information gathering for them. They always put themselves in these very, very, very proper positions to utilize those angles and put teams inside of something like a kill box or a kill zone, forcing them to make mistakes. But remember, this has worked in Erangel in both stints, but now they have to employ something very different, because some of these teams, Miramar is their bread and butter. Will they be able to, capitalize on this final change of map?
These are questions that we are asking. And just as much as we're keeping our eye out on Picado, there's trouble in El Pozo for the side of RT Sports, who have not been having the best of days today, might I add. They do seem to be chilling in El Pozo. They have the side there of Neon Rising just watching on the outskirts. So we might be keeping our eye out on those guys, try to see what all they will be looking to other parts where we have trouble. Maybe not too much trouble is Los Leones, but I keep saying in Los Leones, you can accommodate more than two teams in there. We have RT Sports Dream Team in that mix, and there is one more team over there that I'm still yet to pick out. I believe it's I don't even want to, but I know there's one more team out there in Los Leones. I'd like to see how these teams play it out for the rest of the game.
Yeah, big move for them if they can keep themselves out and about and into a better spot here. Ecstasy just outside of Puerto Paricio. That could be their position for the remainder of this game, making a rotation from the south side. It will feed into their rotational patterns, but will they be able to keep it up? Remember, this is the final. Remember, some teams here will be relegated to the fans' favorite. Who will you be voting for, Crowns? Which team will you vote for the fan favorite? I mean, imagine after all of this work, a team gets voted in, and it's a team that was that you were sitting above on the leaderboard. I mean, that has to hurt. That absolutely has to hurt.
Now is the time to start gathering your fans. The chat is one way to do it. Be sure to try to support some people, and maybe you might get the fans of some teams to be on your side. To myself and Archie Sports, looking to make things easy for you out here in Los Leones, as one of the players from Archie Sports it took himself out to be the grenade. And now Ronald might be
These
struggling with
guys,
MTN. Struggling, he's
it's
fighting a battle against Rick and MTN right now. This stuff has to be tough.
too tough for Hershey Sports. This might feel a little bit harsh for them, but they have Monkey playing behind and could keep the pressure off his back. But it's going to take a lot more for them to be able to crack this defensive hold that Lewick have, and they do look like they are veritable. That will keep things into perspective for Hershey Sports.
Hopefully they can hold it. At this point is where I would usually advise the team to fall back. You do not have to fight for it anymore. You're down to a two-man squad. Cover fire is not going to work, or is most likely not going to work, especially when you're in Los Leones where there's like buildings everywhere. It's going to get really, really tough. And now Ronald's just trying to see if he can hold down his end. Monkey trying to see if she can get closer. But this is only going to get tough. And I'm really still keeping my eye out on foul play, trying to see what the move is. Because in all honesty, maybe me, you can call me a scaredy cat, but if I'm foul play, as much as I know, like I can get these 4 eliminations, I don't think I want to gamble it so early, especially when the play zone is one that I can really rotate into smoothly. Because right now, you just know that the center of the circle has to be free. That playing path was way all the way to the west. This zone is, even further towards the center and the east. You can move east and you wouldn't find too much trouble. Alrighty, looks like Ronox was not the only person who was battling with MTN. But then again, we're going to keep moving. Looks like foul play really want to take the fight. Same thing can be said about Vortex 4 AM as they're looking to draw in closer and closer. They've got grenades in hand. but they're not quite able to get any tick damage, nor are they able to find any knock so far. Nico behind the fence trying to see what he can do, but in others hide, in other news, Tribe Warriors are in trouble as AOD are starting to take them out little by little. Tribe Warriors, they have Three Crown Esports who have been playing so well. There's a chance that Three Crown Esports might have gone above them. Actually, they did go above them in that last game. So, like, right now, it is going to get crazy because they cannot lose numbers. They can't be losing numbers this early on in the game. Tribe Warriors down to 2 players already. That is not fun at all. Really isn't fun. But then we'll try to see how well they can
Yes,
hold on
absolutely
to that
not.
one.
It's a lot of pressure off themselves here. Vortex, they did lose JoJo earlier on, but that will not deter them. They have, however, added some points to us guys from foul play. Will they be able to add some more? Foul play cannot afford to lose any players at this stage. They have to finish this engagement with 4 body strong, but they have to be careful. Vortex is the type of team to put the screws to them to hurt their chances. Again, foul play do not necessarily play to the best of their capacity when they are a man down.
Man, you can tell that V4M, they're just playing to play spoilers, and it looks like they really have their mind on foul play. But in all honesty, if there's something we know about PUBG Mobile, there's other ways that you can put the nail in the haystack for other teams. You don't necessarily have to hot drop them. You can land around them. We've seen that happen before. And Picado happens to be one of those places where you can land around them, land particularly around the vehicle spawns. You know those players are going to head for it, and you can start to put a nail in their haystack little by little. If you take out one of the players, matter of fact, if you're able to take out just 2 players from one team, that might be enough to ruin the game for that team for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that could be a strategy being employed here by the likes of Hashi Sports and Vortex. But now there is a lot of ground to cover. Don't forget, Foul Play have added points already in this Miramar, first Miramar of the night. But now we're about to see the first zone is going to be closing out any moment from now. And it will put things into perspective. Arab T starting to crack the shield there of Dark Knights. Dark Knights having the worst day ever today. They have been absolutely struggling. Now they are beneath, a couple of teams that they started ahead of, and things are not looking too comfortable for the guys from Dark Knights.
Yeah, it definitely had to happen. I mean, from that last game, I don't know why I just have this strong feeling that Neon Rising has to have climbed them already. I mean, Neon Rising have been good today. I did say it in the first game of the day that it's looking like they're playing the Uno reverse card. Normally, Neon Rising is that team that I always say, like, when it comes to the final day, we see them go on a decline. But today, it's looked like Neon Rising are starting to put up those numbers up on board. And to be honest, I'm not even going to complain because left to me, it is an upgrade from how they've been playing before.
Yeah, it's a big upgrade. It's just a big, big upgrade. It looks like Tribe Warriors and AOD continue to trade blows there. These are 2 teams that you cannot afford. And
Hmm,
Tribe Warriors, they will go
hmm,
out Wesco for eliminations
hmm.
for AOD. And Tribe Warriors may have just slipped, but did they 4 crowns?
They might be for. Three Crown is still alive. Three Crown Esports has been putting up number up on board. So Tribe Warriors today have really not put up any points other than I think the first game. After that, they've been on a steady decline, and that is the circle as we have it right now. PlayStation, sorry, make that 1011 Ecstasy already finding their way into the circle. Same thing can be said about Club of Ballers, and I'm really liking how Club of Ballers are playing today. I like the fact that they're really playing for that late game where they're just trying to capitalize on those positions. And once again, for teams that do this, I say it, if you're able to get your way around that, know the sports you're comfortable playing, you now have to be able to balance that with elimination. So Club of Ballers, when it's time to fight in this map of Miramar, I hope you're able to get your shots to land.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things you have to look out for because when it is time to fight, who is going to be your first opponent? That is the question. And it looks like Ecstasy might be their first opponent. But the play zone is also going to play a factor here. It is phase 2 of the circle. It doesn't necessarily force teams to move around just as much. But those teams that do capitalize on positions will tend to, perform better. And again, in a map like Miramar, it is always ideal to have all your players up. That numbers advantage is always going to come in clutch in a map like Miramar. If you don't have high ground position, overlooking valleys, that will put you in a very, very tough spot. And you always have to think it through. Will you be able to capitalize? Will you be able to utilize the top 4 advantages that you have when you play as a complete squad?
Yeah, and man, one thing I'm looking at, maybe V4M, this might be working for them as Nico would find that first knock up onto Bedu. And man, you can see how quickly Foul Play are trying to grab those revives. They know they need the numbers, just as Priester said. If there's one map where you need all the numbers in the world, it is the map of Miramar. Nico has been knocked. And that instantly gives Foul Play the advantage that they've been looking for. They know that is 2 players down now. And they're going to be feeling even more confident. Once that revive is done, they're going to be heading out of here. And man, V4M, remember, there's still a lot to fight for. Third party from 3 Crown. Priest, what is happening?
Oh my God, it's a party. It is a party, and it's not party next door, ladies and gentlemen. Foul Play could be in trouble now. They've lost a body, and now could give a gateway to the rest of the opposition teams to climb a little bit closer. PlayStation Zero taking hit after hit. He has to fall all the way back. 3 Crown Esports is not the team that you would want in this vicinity at all, Crowns.
3 Crown Esports, knowing that is ecstasy. They are gunning for the top guys in the lobby. And guess who's here again? It's Neon Rising. Everyone seems to have Foul Play in mind. Everyone, it is all roads lead to Picado. And just knowing the fact that, like, 3 Crown Esports, knowing that they've thirsted one of the players there from Foul Play, they know exactly who is in there, and they know that they're going to play this one. Try to play Gatekeeper, because that is one team that you're trying to get above. You need to take them out.
Exactly. That is a strategy that works every single time. You know your opposition, get rid of your opposition, and know the fact that they will not be getting any more points. Foul play need to be stopped. And they know that all of these players, they know now that foul play are a man short, and that is a big, big problem for foul play. They need to play this right. They cannot make any mistakes. Neon Rising also in the mix. All of those heavy hitters, they know what they need to do. They want to put a stop to the guys from foul play, but will they be able to? Foul play is quite a solid team defensively. They could hold positions, they could hold angles. It could work in their favor, but we are going to see for ourselves if they can actually make it through.
And because of how deadly that playing path was, most of the teams have to get into the zone through Picado. So if they're heading over there, it's just going to be more teams adding to the tally. I mean, we've got so many teams on that southwestern edge of the circle right now. It's going to be a tough one. And this is one thing I've always said about Picado. It doesn't have too much of a vehicle spawn. So if you're landing in Picado and you have a hot drop, you don't want to waste too much time, because rotating out of there is going to be troublesome. And for what is worth right now, Foul Play has not gotten themselves any of the vehicle spawn. So it's either they have to leave Picado on feet or they have to leave Picado on feet. Really, there's no two ways.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, and that is going to hurt them in the long run. AOD, let's not forget, these guys have put 4 eliminations in the box. They have eliminated Tribe Warriors now, and they have put things into perspective. Neon Rising starting to feel the brunt of the force, feeling the heat there, but they will be able to get their numbers back up. But they are feeling heat again. There's more pressure, there's more angles, and baby will not be getting picked up. 3 Crown Esports, they will not stop. This is not a stopwatch. This is a roadie, and it doesn't ever stop.
And another team that is not stopping is Angels of Death. They said Erangel is not the only place we can put up good numbers. Headshots connected. Looking for more bullets. Come on, Tom! As Jay, he's been on fire since that Erangel came. Pulls him. Oh, zone!
Oh no, water zone, Crowns, there's fire on the mountain, and all of these teams, they're starting to get burned. AOD, 8 eliminations. One would think that they would have given up, but not today. They know that this is their opportunity to turn things around because they do not have that many points. This could be an opportunity for them to turn things around, but again, there's a lot of teams in here. Jay and Wesco working hand in hand, putting in the screws. All of these teams, 8 eliminations is no easy feat, but let's not forget, Crowns, there is still a buttload of work to do.
Now, teams that were on the south need to move. I see 3 Crown Esports is still trying to get themselves some more eliminations, but they need to move. Reason why I'm saying that is because this new circle only has just the one high ground. And as you said, you need the high grounds in this game, especially if you're still up as a full squad. You want to make sure you're holding that high ground, because if you're not on San Martin Hill right now, problem is on the ground. And man, speaking of problem, Club of Ballers might just be in one, as 10-11 Ecstasy have set their eyes on them, and the intro knock has been found. It's Zaza to fall first, and Club of Ballers, now they have to make a move, but they do not have the high ground advantage.
And this is what I talked about. When you are trying to get engagement, who is your first engagement going to be against? And it is three. It is Ecstasy and COB are starting to feel it now. They're losing out again. That was very close. Crusader goes for the drop as well. Two eliminations now for Ecstasy. They're loving it. They're loving this position, but they do have to make their way into the zone. They're not too far out, but let's not forget, foul play is still very much alive here. They've not started to add their points just yet. I'll take a look
Uh
at
oh.
that. PlayStation Zero has been knocked away. PlayZone will trade it off. Lee has been knocked away as well. Will be flushed down. And that could be trouble. Could speak a lot of trouble now. Three Crown Esports fighting for their lives, trying to hold on. Dream Team trying to put them all the way to the back now. But Merrick will get the angles right. We'll drop him through. And that's trouble now. That will be the end for Tex in the back of the lobby. And that is one that Three Crown Esports are going to enjoy.
Man, Three Crown Esports would enjoy that one, but right now they're being distracted heavily by the side of Dream Team, who's trying to make it into the circle. But foul play though. As I said earlier, they do not have that vehicle spawn. They still have numbers advantage. I believe that's 3 players that they still have. So they might be able to still pull this one off, but they need to start moving as soon as possible. For what it's worth, nobody is holding that high ground. I mean, the San Martin high ground is being held by Afro Esports, but no one is holding that high ground on that southwestern side. Anyone who holds that would be able to play gatekeeper so well.
And that is something you have to be aware of. You have to be sure of your positions. You have to be sure of your angles. You cannot make any mistakes. Three Crown Esports have started this very, very nicely, but can they see it all the way through? Remember, the play zone only has one high ground position. And it looks like Afro Esports could be that much closer to it. They could snatch this one away, but eyes will be on this entire side of San Martin. If anybody can keep it kosher, it could be the guys from Afro Esports.
And Three Crown Esports going for what seems to be a rotation that would hold and halt the side here of foul play, who are forced right now to rotate separately. Just the one vehicle spawn is all they had. And with Souls is going to be the one to get into that circle and try to see how he can play this one out. We're about to get yet another zone shift. And if that zone goes up north, Dark Knights, maybe this might be their first K, but it favors that high ground. You want to get to that high ground as quickly as possible. And Three Crown Esports, I think they're starting to notice the players there from foul play.
Exactly. Every single position that they've got for themselves so far, it has been very interesting going into this, final third. They could have an opportunity to close this down, but Three Crown Esports, they continue to press, they continue to hold down the lines, and they will not stop. They cannot stop. They cannot take their foot off the gas. They want to make it into that top 3. They want to take that chicken dinner. They want to put foul play on the back burner. Foul play have lost 2 in all of this resolve. It is down to just 2 players, and it's only 3 eliminations they have been able to put on the board, Crowns.
Long rotation is what foul play is going to have to deal with, and I have to give them the props. This is why they're number 1, can't lie, because right now they're already finding their way into the circle as a duo, and they know that circle might be looking nice, but that is not where they need to be, given that they do not have the numbers. But Three Crown Esports, they will take any elimination that comes their way, and Luik Esports is going to be next in line as the pump action does the work for Merrick. 6 eliminations for Three Crown Esports, and it looks like they're already starting to go on a tear. And 10-11 Ecstasy, though, on that eastern side, they're still also putting in their trouble. They are still putting in the numbers, 4 points that they have up on board, but they're losing numbers as well. This is the numbers game. This is Erangel. Sorry, this is Miramar. And this is where it's going to start to get tough, because you do need your numbers. 10-11 Ecstasy have lost numbers. Foul Play has also lost numbers. These are the 2 teams that are sitting out on the top of the leaderboard, and every other person is trying to chase. Tribe Warriors are out, so that could give them a little breathing space, but damn. Three Crown Esports still alive as a full squad here on the map of Miramar. Things could get sketchy and dicey, but Ragnar looking to stop things now for the side of Angels of Death, as Angels of Death are starting to lose number. Noruka trying to see if he can hold on, but the off angle and third party is coming in through very, very strong. It's going to be Club of Ballers for that third party. Angels of Death 4. 9 eliminations that they were able to get. Is that enough? Is that enough to still keep them in that threshold? That is what we're looking at. But Club of Ballers, though, they do not mind. They are waiting. Ragnar also trying to see if they can hold it. But Noruka says that grenade too far. That is a good grenade there from Club of Ballers onto Noruka. But Noruka is going to hold down his end. They still have a full squad, and it looks like Ragnar would be prioritizing that circle.
Oh, there's trouble now. Foul play. They will not make it into the final third because of Three Crown Esports. And this could be something diabolical right now. Ecstasy also in trouble. The angles are too tight. Bego's trying to get a drop there, but he can't seem to find his way through. Dream Team in trouble. And again, they're taking hits. And that will be the end of the road as well for Ecstasy. But they did manage 4 eliminations. But is that enough?
What is going on and what are we witnessing? This zone is absolutely nasty. None of the high grounds are in the zone. It is now open fields. There's one compound in the circle is being held by Neon Rising. But can Neon Rising hold it as much? Three Crown Esports understand it already. You can already start to see them looking for elims. Because right now with this circle, you don't want to be in the circle. You want to try to take out as many teams as possible. But man, right now it is some of the teams that are on the bottom that are still alive. Club of Ballers 4. Three Crown Esports continue with the rampage. 7 eliminations that they have. Priest, what is happening?
Oh, big game for Three Crown Esports. Are they about to get us a turkey right now? 3 chicken dinners in a row. That is the master. That is a true test of mastering your craft. Will Three Crown Esports make it back to back to back in a final of the range split? It's never been done, but Three Crown Esports may just do it. That's a beautiful grenade toss through, enough to put the screws onto the guys from Afro Esports, and that one is a drop from Merrick. Squash goes down. Afro Esports fighting behind the smoke, but they can't seem to get the angles drop, and that could be trouble for Nexus. Chris will trade it back, and it's an open space. Three Crown Esports could be in trouble now, and then Joy has to get an angle over to the top half and get that position secured. Swat playing off the northern side, trying to keep the pressure on, and Nexus all isolated. He's been knocked away, and it looks like he might not be getting picked up, but here comes Dark Knights. Darkness playing behind. More pressure again. Quickson. Oh, Quilla with the mini 14, tracking the skulls. Merrick actually gets the angles there. Pride Boy goes down as well. 9 eliminations. Nexus will go back and bite the lobby, courtesy of SWAT, and it will sweep him away. But now, Three Crown Esports down to 3 crowns. Can they be able to make it? They're not in the zone. They have to make a push a little bit forward, but Dark Knights could be standing in their path.
Archie Sports fall in the background. RT Sports are still alive. Same thing can be said about Neon Rising. And Dark Knights, they heard noise. They want to take the fight. Three Crown Esports might have beaten off more than they can chew. And once again, there is no space for any solos in this game. It's all open grounds. And Neon Rising are going to start to farm from now on because the shots are really lined up for them.
Yeah, it's open season right now. It is deer hunting for Neon Rising, and we talked about them. Miramar is their bread and butter as well. They're loving this, and Dark Knight's now trying to make a name for themselves here, trying to close this down. Can Neon Rising defend? Not enough intel. That guy will miss the grenade. He's not sure of the angles there, but Solo will be heard by Wizard, and that one will take another bite as Arab T will crash the party as well. Atarodo closing out, and now Neon Rising have the upper hand. They have the advantage for eliminations and more to count. A chicken dinner here will turn things around. It will swap all the way through crowns. Can Neon Rising capitalize?
Neon Rising have been on a climb. Remember, I said it, they might be catching up little by little. They need a good game. Wizard is down as Darkness is showing why he is part of the MVPs of the lobby right now, trying to put in the damage. Wizard is down, but man, this player Darkness is trying to hold it on. Neon Rising, the beekeeper, trying to hold it on. The pre-fires are there, but it is not enough to stop Darkness as he shows them the lights, drops them down. But that guy trying to see if he can continue on the prowess, going upstairs, finds the shot, but doesn't quite find the knock. That player is still alive in Darkness, is trying to hold on the ground, and Dark guy gonna have to hold it on for Neon Rising.
Oh, big plays here from Neon Rising again to the corner. Clutch from Darkness. He will cast a shadow over Neon Rising, putting them to sleep. And that is trouble right now for all of those teams in the top draw. Arab T finally rising to the occasion. Atarodo will go back into the lobby. But Ragnar, another team that has been very dominant inside of Miramar, and they are looking very comfortable. And that will go down again. 6 eliminations to the good. 7 now. Ragnar, ladies and gentlemen, they will not stop. And this could be them having one step inside the grand final. Remember, this team has some major points on the leaderboard. They could just be stopping some other teams' crowns.
They said they do not want that fan favorite. We want to make it into the grand finals. And that is exactly what they're doing. But right now it's a 3v1. Once again, Priest, this is another game. Can this solo do it? Darkness has all the cover. And Ragnar doesn't seem to have vehicles that they can work with. Can Darkness actually do it? He's one of the MVPs of the lobby. 3 eliminations that he has so far, and he's got a lot of loot to work with. Can Ragnar win this one? They do have a little bit of cover in their sights, just no vehicles, and they know that Solo has to be in that building. They might just be spotting him anytime now. I don't think Darkness can do this one.
Oh, it's not looking very possible, but Darkness is
Eh?
very capable. Ghost has been knocked away, and he does have a little bit of the play zone to work with there. He might go for the flush. He does go for the flush. He peeks out, tries the right-hand side again, and now this could be something special. 2 versus 1. Can Ragnar hold on? Again, Darkness is the MVP now. He's cooking right now for Dark Knights. Can he find his way into the zone? He does, and Ragnar need to do something here. They're trying to circle back, but he's not aware that they've made the rotation. He's trying to hear it through, and a grenade or a smoke now or some kind of utility will be able to put things into perspective for Ragnar.
Naruka has got a grenade in hand, but he has to make it count. That is the last grenade that he has, but they know this player has a lot of buildings to work with, and he's got the zone. They have a little bit of a what do you call it, of a ridge line, and he doesn't know where they are, and that is where it is, because right now Ragnar knows it's a 2v1, but Darkness can't even really say it's a 1v2 right now. He might think it's a 1v1v1.
Yeah, absolutely no information for Darkness. He's not aware. He doesn't know what to do here. He's tossing grenades, but he doesn't get the angles right. And this could be what hurts him in the final process. Can he make something happen here? Can he turn this around? This would be something special. If Darkness can clutch against Ragnar, this would be a big boost for Dark Knights into that last game, Crowns.
And you can see he's really checking that left-hand side because he feels like there's probably a solo still alive in this game. So right now, he's the only person who doesn't know what is going on in the game right now. He's trying to play it so carefully. He has the cover, but he doesn't have the information. The left-hand side, he can't even say it's really clear because there's this illusion. You don't really know if it is flat grounds or if there is a little bit of a ridge line. But the snakes in the grass for Ragnar, they're playing it slowly. It's a 2v1, but they cannot be too aggressive. Darkness is starting to prep some grenades. He's got Molotovs, and here comes the blue zone to force him out of the building. Alucard knows exactly where he is, and he can say the same as well. The Molotov is out. It's a 1v2, looking for the right-hand side, but kind of spotted it. It has to be a GG's here, and it is indeed a GG's. Ragnar, from the bottom of the leaderboards, get themselves the Miramar winner chicken dinner.
Well deserved from Ragnar. They played this perfectly. Noruka putting in that work. Alucard and Ghost as well, making it special. And now, I believe with this performance, they could have just done something special for themselves in those grand final points. But we are going to see if that is enough for them to get into the grand finals grounds.
8 eliminations and a winner chicken dinner, 18 points. The question is, what does that do to you? We wonder, but once again, you shall not be seeing that overall leaderboards. Like I know many people want to see that, but right now we don't see it just yet. These teams playing blind. Everyone needs to lock in. 5 grenade eliminations, 54 knockouts. Look at the healings coming through from Miramar. It was a lot of third party.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a major drop in performance from some of these teams. But again, it is something we have seen time and time again. And will they be able to get the job done? But that's a lot of bodies that were dropped here. 57 in total, 29 assists, and a couple of grenade eliminations as well. But there was a lot of healing going out here, because you know some teams trying their absolute best to stay alive. But will they be able to do it, though? That is the question.
The points you have to gather, the places you have to go, the plays you have to make. This is the 4th game of the day, but it is not the final game of the day. We have one more to go. And this is where it's going to start to get crazy, because this is the last game. You need to do those numbers. You need to get it done. Foul play. The race is on. But man, RFT Sports, this, I don't even want to react to this praise. Like, why is it now that RFT Sports is now choosing to put numbers up on board?
Again, a valid question. You know, Atarado finding his feet, but just a little bit too late there. We did talk about them not finishing. We did talk about COB not finishing last, but I think that one must have got to them. But let's not forget Jay putting a masterclass performance as well for AOD. Darkness in the card, Quilla as well for 3 Crown Esports. Unfortunately for them, that chicken dinner slipped out of their fingers, but they still continue to put, some pressure on.
And I'm just going to highlight our player Jay there. You really have to give him his flowers at least for today, because that man has actually been doing the numbers for his team. Angels of Death able to get themselves 10 elimination points, which is the only 10 points that they were able to get from this game. 3 Crown Esports with 13 points up on board. The chase is on. Tribe Warriors went out with 0 points. I think with this one, they're definitely going clear of Tribe Warriors. And this is why I start to ask the question, because Neon Rising, they needed to get in points in this game, but they only got 7. Is that going to be enough? Ecstasy with 5. Is that enough to keep 3 Crowns at bay? Who can pull the strings? Who can pull the strings? Who has control? Who can do it? These are the questions that we've got in mind. And once again, the one question that is on our mind: who wins the NPL finals for the rain split? All of these questions will be answered just right after this break. And the camera is back on. He said, just as we're waiting for the finals, you guys would wait before you see me in that final game. Priest is back and he's in your faces. The green is on him. You know that is the monster energy, and that is what we're bringing into this final game. NPL Season 8 rain splits. We're going into the last game, Priest. How are you feeling so far?
Man, it's been absolutely incredible. I ain't gonna lie, man. That is one for the ages, one for the books. But it is something that we are going to be looking out for. But take a look. I think we might have some technical difficulties here. We might have to restart the game, unfortunately. Um, so yeah, I think we're going to take a little bit of a break and return to the lobby.
Are we ready
Ooh,
to cook? Are
type
we
shit, type
ready
shit,
for
type
it?
shit.
Yes, sir.
Whew.
Type. Actually, I'm not gonna help him and sit down. But anyway, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final game of the NPL Rain Split Finals, brought to you by 1080 and Monster Energy. We've wasted too much of your time already, so without further ado, we'll be heading into the final game of the day. It's gonna be Miramar once more. 15 teams this time, 60 players locked in and loaded. Priest, what you say?
Ooh, well. I guess we are going to be on the edge of our seats for this one because, as it stands, man, I don't even know. It's so chaotic on the top of that leaderboard. There's four teams in the run it now. You know, a chicken dinner to the wrong team could just catapult them into a very, very dangerous, position. But this playing path puts things into a very even better perspective. So all eyes will be on those teams that do love to play a little bit more central, and my eyes will be on them as well.
Definitely, and my eyes are on that place called Picado, and I want to see are the players there from V4M still on what seems to be a pointless chase for the side there of foul play or not. Foul play looking to go for a different drop location this time, as they do not want any sort of obstruction in their game plan. You can just tell, and this is not. I think from the side of foul play, this is not a case of we don't want to take a fight to them. It's more like there's no point taking the fight because that during that last Miramar game, it just looked like all V4M were trying to do is prevent them from getting into the circle early. And that did work for them. Foul play did go out early. And, right now they're trying to maximize the points they can get.
Yeah, you're right. They are trying to maximize what they can get. But how possible is it though? With all of these teams playing in their absolute best here, AOD, Ecstasy, Three Crown Esports, Tribe Warriors, Foul Play, all of these
Neon.
guys on the front foot, and Neon Rising as well. All of these teams on the front foot. Who is going to creep up into that top three?
And look, speaking of creeping up, the side there of foul play cannot catch a break. They have Afro Esports this time looking to play spoiler, and it looks like they're looking to get started. Our shots are starting to fly. Neon Rising, on the other hand, have to deal with some of the players there from Angels of Death, and seeing how they played that last game, they might just be on fire. But it's a trade right now for both teams. Revives is going to come through. Baby's going to be back on his feet. But man, the play zone looking quite similar to that last game. But if there's one thing we know about the game of PUBG Mobile, this zone might not repeat the same motion.
You're absolutely right. There's so many ways this could go. But looks like Foul Play already putting the work in, but Play with Souls gets knocked away there by SWAT. And Afro Esports is not the team that they were expecting to go down with them. This could be trouble here for Foul Play. Play with Souls deep in the open there. He might be losing out here. And that could be a very dangerous trade-off. Souls is still knocked away. Foul Play potentially could be losing a player very, very early, Crowns.
Oh, they're definitely losing that player. There's no way they get that revive off. The rest of the team is not close to them. And now it looks like they're going for that bait and switch. I kind of like the play coming through from foul play, where it's like they do some damage and try to get the team pushing in that position, try to make make that team a little scattered. And it looks like it might be working right now. All attention does seem to be focused on that position that Bedu is currently holding. But play zone, he's got an off angle, and with off angles, you really have to make your shots count. He's got the 8x on that SKS. Can he do the work? Chris is in his sight line. But in other sides, it's still Neon Rising going toot to the side there of Angels of Death.
Yeah, big game coming through from AOD right now. Things could work out in their favor if they can manage to keep their numbers up. Again, there's a lot of points up for grabs in this game. They cannot afford to make any mistakes. There's a big chance that the pressure could get to one of these teams, and it looks like Foul Play could be the team that the pressure mounts on.
Definitely, and that is one thing we're looking forward to. I am getting a little too excited because of what this final game can actually hold. There's so many questions in mind. I'm looking at the side here of RT Sports. I'm also looking at Club of Ballers. We've been talking about those two teams and how both teams are not trying to finish in 16th position. And right now, seeing that showing that RT Sport had in that last game, you best believe that they might have gone above the side there of Club of Ballers. But things are starting to get tricky. They're trying to get dicey as Foul Play is able to initiate a trade. Pride Boy from Afro Esport will fall. And now it is a 3v3 out here in La Cobreria.
Yeah, big game still. for foul play. Again, there's a lot of ground to be covered here, and they will be able to look around to see if there's anything they can get out of this game. But Three Crown Esports, they cannot afford to lose out at all. They're looking very good. Their position, they are playing from Moncton Wavel, but utilities, vehicles, all of those things will play into effect because they do not have a play zone. And again, their rotation in this final game is going to be called up to question.
Definitely. Before I'm gonna realize that there is no one there in Picado with them, as they will just be chilling in Picado alone, and maybe this time they will get what it feels like to make it into the circle. Sadly, we did not have Dream Team and Clubber Ballers in this game, so I believe nonetheless we should know Clubber Ballers might just finish in 16th position. The question is, with Dream Team not showing up in this game, what is going to happen? RT Esports, Team Luik, I believe Four Portions. These are teams that were surrounding them, earlier on today. And it's a question of where do they find themselves right now. Foul play, though, not backing out of this fight. The same thing can be said about Afro Esports.
Yeah, big is going to be a very interesting turn of events here because Afro Esports starting off very, very strongly, but Foul Play have turned things around and they have taken two away from them as well. So they have to be very careful.
Hmm.
They do just a little bit on the front foot here. Grenade is in hand. Squash also might be getting dropped off there, and the angle might be a little bit fraudulent for him if he can't manage to circle back and Squash against Bedu. Now,
Mm.
this is one for the ages. Again, that's a good grenade.
Oh,
Oh, that's a first touch. First touch is good here. Foul play could be in trouble. They might be losing yet another. And he turned his back to the opposition, but managed to escape just with a slither of HP. Foul play playing is a little bit more slow and steady. They cannot afford to take any risks. They cannot
no.
afford to take any mistakes. And that is a hurtful scenario there. That was a bad call.
Yes.
Very bad call from Afro Esports. The hurt in there. Now SWAT potentially the last one left for Afro Esports. Now they're closing in on him. Foul play want this to close this down, and that will be the end of the road. And now Afro Esports will donate to the cause and give Foul Play for eliminations.
I'm just disappointed because what was that? Really, what was that? It's 2025. You're pushing stairs in this world of shotguns. But anyway, speaking of shotguns, it's going to be Tribe Warriors getting touched by the side there of V4M. But they're able to initiate a little bit of a trade. So if the revive's looking to come through, drop, that is not the time to grab the revive. Pulls in from the right hand side with the AKM trying to see if he can do the damage. But Jojo coming in from just right behind him. He's got the M4 M249 in hand. And he's trying to see if he can do the damage. But there is a vehicle. Straight's coming in through. But the M249 would reign victorious. But he continues to move in from the side. That is an excellent spray coming in through from Drop. As he goes in, he's looking for a 1v4 but cannot find. And Tribe Warriors fall early on in another game again. 1 point that they were able to get. That definitely takes them out of the race.
What an unfortunate turn of events. Vortex putting everything on the line there, eliminating Tribe Warriors. Tribe Warriors struggled, but they couldn't find the final hit. They couldn't find the angle there. Grope almost seeing it through, but unfortunately it was not enough. And now things are about to look very, very interesting in that top half of the leaderboard.
Definitely, things are going to start to shake up. Three Crown Esports, another sigh of relief from them, knowing that the side there of Tribe Warriors are out early. And I don't know, man. Tribe Warriors, if I know Tribe Warriors went for that push with the mindset that, actually, no, it was V4M that pushed. But nonetheless, it was just a poor hold coming or poor push coming in through from Tribe Warriors. And now they're out. We'll see where they actually end up on the leaderboard because can't lie, we did see Neon Rising putting up good numbers as well. So I'm pretty sure Neon Rising is quite close to them. Question is, would Neon Rising rise above them? That's what we've got in mind because Neon Rising is still alive in this one and they were able to get themselves 1 point early on in this game. So they're starting off quite strong.
Yeah, they're starting really strong. Also the likes of Ragnar. They've also been putting some good points for themselves inside of this game, and I loved every single minute of it. This is a team that, was giving a lot of underdog energy, but they did not stop. They continued to pressurize. Again, this is like the third time I think I've seen them win a chicken dinner. And the way they do it is they usually prioritize staying alive, as much as possible into the final third, like zone 4, zone 5. They like to be 4 up just to give themselves that extra number advantage. And you can't go wrong with that strategy. But Dark Knights also, they need a big game. They need a banger. They need something here to put them inside of that position where they can cause some trouble for the likes of teams that are sitting in that top 3 position.
Yeah, and I'm here asking the side of Dark Knights, is it too late? Might it be too late? Because I mean, Dark Knights did start the game very slowly. And now going into this final couple games is where we're starting to see Dark Knight put up a little bit of a performance. And that's why I'm asking, is it too late now? Because right now, ha, you're gonna need a pop-off game to even prevent people from drawing close to you. And the Angels of Death looking to put in the work onto the side of RT Sports.
Ooh, that's very unfortunate. For Arab T. They did look very, very, very solid in the previous game, in the previous Miramar game. And unfortunately for them, they seem to have lost their footing. Inside of this one, they will be losing out earlier
Hmm,
on. But AOD,
hmm,
they could have something around here.
hmm.
V4M and Three Crown Esports, they could be locking in. And it's V4M that wants to be the thorn in the side of all of these top teams today, Crowns.
They already took out this idea of Tribe Warriors, and it looks like they've got their eyes set on the side of Three Crown Esports. Mary turns his back to the ops.
Oh,
We know how that ends every single time. And Three Crown Esports are
oh,
out. Ecstasy, what's your
Vortex.
move?
It's open now. It is open season right now. Foul play. They have lost one, but they've got 4 eliminations. Ecstasy looking to capitalize on this foul play. Three Crown Esports just couldn't find it in their hearts to cook. And now the road is open. It is phase 2 of the circle, and Ecstasy are looking for a way inside of the zone here. And this is now a very open game, Crowns.
It really is very open. But foul play, they would heave a sigh of relief. All they need to do is tip off the scale. They know they just have to keep putting up numbers up on board. But 10-11 Ecstasy might need to go for a pop-off game here. Are they seeing what is happening? Do they know what is going on? Tribe Warriors is out. Tribe Warriors was the first person that was behind them going into today's games. And then Three Crown with such pop-off games, now they know like, okay, well, Three Crowns is out. Tribe Warriors is out. Those are two teams that could catch up to us, and now they just have to play catch-up for the side of foul play.
Public
This is
cannot
going to be a very
afford.
tough ending.
Yeah, Public cannot afford any mistakes right now. They cannot afford to go out. You can see what they're playing. They're playing steep and deep rotations, and Ecstasy now setting their sights on AOD. They need the points, and they are starting to get it. Crusader has to be very careful, and he does get knocked away by Beekeeper. Neon Rising, what a piece of the action as well this time. And this could be something very, 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 very troublesome for Ecstasy. They might be losing out. They will be losing out. Crusader will not make any moves anymore, as that guy with the mini 14 will crack his score, but they will trade off again. Amar gets the angle, Baby gets him knocked away, and Neon Rising now, they could be in trouble. They will trade 1-for-1. Wizard is going for the pickup. Amar is in a very steep position, and he might be able to close this down, but they will want to close this through. Big play here coming through from Amar. Big spray from Wizard, 2 versus 1. He's not aware that there's opposition on his left-hand side. Amar swaps over to the right-hand side. The bait is good. Tries again. DBS, now he keeps himself into a very better position, and the rest of his teammates are making a play for it. He hasn't made a move, and he tries to pack it through into the left-hand side. An opportunity here for Ecstasy to apply some pressure, and it's working. It's working right now.
Where's the
Amar
mate?
goes for the flush. Neon Rising, 2 versus 1, and they know that this could be troublesome for them again. He tries to bait him out into the left-hand side. The vehicle already going up in flames, and this could be a perfect position for Ecstasy to capitalize.
And I'm asking the question, where is the rest of Ecstasy? Amar has been holding on the ground, but they need to form up on him. They still have the numbers. They need to form up, and finally they show up. But now there's AOD coming in through for the third party. It's going to slow them down. Amar needs to hold up. But Neon Rising, they cannot seem to push up quite aggressive enough.
Yeah, Neon Rising getting called out in the open there. That is an unfortunate scenario for them. Crusader getting lost to Ecstasy. Again, it is very, very chaotic. We're down to 11 teams. It is phase 2 of the circle. There is a lot of ground to be covered here. Ecstasy trying to deal with Neon Rising, and they need to deal with them very quickly because AOD is in the vicinity. They're looking for a way through, and Jay might be the one to close the final curtain on this expedition. Ecstasy fighting for their lives, holding that line, but it's going to require a lot from them to see this through.
Really is going to take a lot. Foul play going for the long game. They are rotating as slow as they can, as slowly as they can. And Ecstasy, they need to hold their ground. They need to fight for this, and this is where the battle starts because they know that foul play is still alive in this one. And look at the teams that are doing the damage. V4M, AOD causing trouble as well. The bottom teams, or well, pretty much teams, middle belt teams are the ones that are putting in the damage.
Yeah, it's showing. It is really showing. The middle belt teams are not letting this one slide at all, and that is what we love to see. Remember, we've got 36 players in the cut. It is going to reduce, but not at an exponential rate. Neon Rising need to find a way around this. They need to close this down. They need to make something happen here against the likes of Ecstasy. But the play zone is going to be a big decider there, and it looks like AOD almost putting in a lot of work there to derail Ecstasy from maintaining that top position.
Man, this is starting to get it is a game that puts you on the edge. I'm nervous. How does this play out? The fact that we still have two teams, I think if we see foul play and XTC go out, maybe I might have a little bit of peace of mind. But Bego trying to see if he can increase that elimination count for the team. As I said, every point matters. And if you're looking at that northeastern side, you will see that foul play. They are trying to stay away from everyone as much as possible. Bedu the only player in the zone.
Yeah, but again, this type of play style might hurt them because the play zone has circled up quite nicely in Minas and Anales and the truck stop. Now, Ecstasy need to find a way through without getting uprooted by AOD. Luick fall into their path, and this could be something extra. Amar getting caught out, and now that could be trouble. Trader as well to follow suit. Ecstasy will lose too.
And now they're down to Amar and Bego, a very strong duo. But considering the fact that four players are still alive as a three-man squad and they are playing this so slowly, and that's the thing, 10-11 XTC cannot play this game slowly because they're the ones that are playing catch-up. They need to put the numbers up on board. But Scrotts does look to be growing closer and closer to Amar. That's a good nade, but it's just a little short. Every other team that is on the chase, the teams that are not supposed to go out, are the ones that are going out right now. And 10-11 XTC can only pick up scrap points from the elims right now.
Tied for eliminations apiece, but they are a man shorter than foul play. Amar trying to put the final nail in the coffin against the guys from Luick. Again, he has to be very careful. They are in a 2-2. They are in a 1-1 split, and they are cut over to the side there. Beko and Amar. If they can get some points over here, it could improve their chances. But losing Traitor and Crusader crowns, it may have just hurt their chances as well.
I think they might have to leave this fight. They need to prioritize the circle. They cannot go out. And that is one thing they're starting to realize, that whatever happens, they cannot go out. They're keeping their eye on that elimination feed, and they know foul play is still alive somewhere. Somewhere, because foul play isn't on that elimination feed anymore. So you can just tell that they know they have to out-survive them and still get maximum points. This is going to be tough for 10-11 XTC.
Yeah, it's gonna ask a lot. Like I said, no team has ever won the Hamatan split and the Rain split in the same season, and it looks like foul play could be making that a reality against the guys from Ecstasy if they do not make their way through. Remember, 4 eliminations, 2 apiece for Bedu and Playzone. Again, that puts things into a very, very tumultuous position for the likes of Ecstasy and Neon Rising as well. But there's more pressure again coming through from Bego. He does get the drop on Luick, and that will be another elimination added on their front foot. 5 eliminations now to Ecstasy. Bego putting up 3, and this could be one of those games where they will turn up, but Crowns, it looks very, very steep.
It is very steep. I think 10-11 fans are going to be out here with their fingers in their mouth, knowing that this is going to be a very tough one. But you've got 2 players in Bego and Amar to hold it up. Amar being one of those players who is on that top leaderboard for the overall players, or for the MVP. And man, they need to get into that circle as soon as possible. Foul play are all alone. They are just looking for those placement points, any points right now. Foul play trying to push themselves up, keep that distance between themselves and every other person who might be trying to overtake that position. Neon Rising still alive. There's still a battle for top 3, because remember, Tribe Warrior is out. 3 Crown is out as well. Neon has been playing nice. They might be able to still do it.
Yeah, but they are trailing in eliminations. A chicken dinner is the only result that would make sense. And let's not forget Dark Knights. They have the zone, they have everything working for them. Darkness is very close to Omar there, and they are making that rotation. This could be very, very diabolical for Ecstasy, but foul play also. What a beautiful position from Dark Knights. They are loving this. This could turn things around. A chicken dinner here for Dark Knights could put things into a very, very interesting perspective.
Yeah, Dark Knights do have a strong position. However, this is a very tricky circle. There is high grounds everywhere, and there is dips as well that you can work with. We'll be seeing a lot of third party, provided teams can still maintain their numbers. V4M starting to lose those numbers one after the other. RT Sports trying to get a little bit of third party action as well. And Angels of Death, they have been having fun this game. Unfortunately, not enough fun to grab them eliminations, but they are still keeping it alive.
Yeah, I mean, Angels of Death, they've not cried uncle just yet. One elimination on down the bag, but the potential for a whole lot more if they can keep the pressure on.
Hmm.
But again, that could call for some chaotic displays, going into zone number 5. But now Arab T deep in the south, and they are in Minas Gerais. This could work out in their favor if they can keep a lid on the guys from AOD. Again, the position that they've got for themselves so far, it is going to require a lot from them if they do want to make it into the next phases of the zone, unless the play zone forces those teams to come to their position.
I'll tell you something. Try not to look at those match standings on the right hand side. It says Dream Team is out, but Dream Team is indeed here. They're down here on that southern edge. 4 portions still alive in this one as well. 4 players still alive. 3 eliminations that they've got to their name. I'm liking so far what I'm seeing. Neon Rising continue to head further and further deeper into the circle. I think Neon Rising is aware that many teams like to play edge, and then they're trying to stay away from the edge because they're also looking for those placement points. But then again, you need to find the balance. You need eliminations.
You need a lot of eliminations, but again, it's going to be a very, very long stretch for a team like Neon Rising, owing to the fact that they've lost,
Hmm.
2 of their players. Bedu with a drop on Amar. Oh, this could be something, and they might know. They find out again. A drop over to the side there. 5 eliminations, and they know that it's Ecstasy now. They have been discovered, and foul play. All they have to do now is rid the lobby of Ecstasy.
Now I'm telling you, they just have to get Ecstasy out of here. The question is, how much attention have they been paying? Do they know Ecstasy is down to 1? They have to know. They have to know that Ecstasy is not up as a full squad anymore. And right now, Team Luik is here to play a little bit of distraction. Bego might be able to use that to his advantage. But they fall before they can even start anything. Foul play continuing to increase their elimination tally. And what seemed to be like a slow game from foul play might end up being a game that they will finish with a lot of eliminations.
Yeah, that is one for the books. But again, there is a lot of place to be covered there. Ragnar in trouble, and take a look at Bego. He's driving a little bit too close. He's 1 HP. He has to be careful here. One touch is all it takes, and Bego might be going out. Is a little bit too risky. It's too high risk. His vehicle might be going out to pasture. But fortunately for him, he manages to escape the danger now. Foul play will lose another. Zone has been knocked away, and this could be the end there. Ragnar, they could be the ones to put the final nail in the coffin here for foul play. And Ghost has been spotted. Unfortunately, Dark Knights will be the ones to put them back into the lobby. Oh my goodness.
I think that is enough. I think that does it for foul play. 8 eliminations already. I don't think they're getting caught. Oh, Bego! Yo, Bego!
Oh my goodness. Bego. Bego will not stop. He cannot stop. He puts the nail in the coffin of foul play. The points cannot rise any further. Only 1 point for
You gotta
placement for
wait.
foul play. But how far can Ecstasy take it though? How far can they go? Bego, as a solo man, he told
He
foul play, you will not get a chicken dinner, not while I'm here. As solo man, putting a thorn in the side of foul play. We thought foul play had just done enough, but Bego said, hold my beer, hold my M416, cracking the skulls down on the guys from foul play. Now they will be biting their fingernails. Will they be able to get the job done?
Neon Rising are still chasing. They are finding those elims. But Bego might need to do a lot more for the team. 6 points so far, but don't forget, foul play were able to get themselves 8 points. And Bego is still getting more knocks. Might he be able to do it?
Things are going to be riling up here. As the guys, I believe it is one of the players from Dark Knights that did get caught by Bego there. Things are going to look very unfortunate, but Arab T go out as well. 4 portions to also follow them in the top 4, and Bego will be discovered, and that will be the end of the road for Ecstasy. Have they done enough? I'm not sure, but foul play, they probably have breathed a sigh of relief, but let's not forget Dark Knights.
Oh, I think Foul Play has done it. Now it's down to Neon Rising and Dark Knights, because Dark Knights is still alive as a full squad. Neon Rising has to hold on, because right now Dark Knights is still trying to fight for that top 3 position or make that top 4 position. And right now they need to do the damage. They are doing it. Abubakar with another knock. I'll make that an Elim as V4M falls. And this is tight. Neon Rising, that guy has to play Survivor.
He has to survive. He has to find himself into that top 2 position if he can get the chicken dinner. Dark Knights are playing at full strength. AOD as well. Let's not forget AOD is also in the mix. And these guys, they cannot afford to make any mistakes right now. Dark Knights have the zone. We talked about this. They have the majority of the play zone for the most part. But now all that's left for them is to see if they can secure that chicken dinner.
They have to see through 4 eliminations that they have so far, and they've got their eyes on AOD, who have been driving a whole lot in this map of Myanmar. And Dark Knights, now is not the time to relent, now is not the time to rest, but grenades are wonderful from Abubakar. Sorry, make that from Angels of Death. And 88 would use the M4 to complete the damage. More grenades are landing. Ness is in trouble, but he's able to get a knock to initiate a trade. Solo's got a very nice position here. And this position actually from Solo, from Dark Knights, might actually be what wins them the game.
Yeah, it's a big play coming through from Dark Knights. They've done everything right. They've held the zone. They have not committed too many bodies out in the open, but AOD also trying to keep their numbers up. Remember, there are 3 teams in here. Neon Rising still have that guy very much in the mix here, but the play zone is not going to be too favorable. Dark Knights will need to descend from this high ground position to claim that spot. Abubakar hopefully will be getting picked up, but let's not forget that guy still very much in the mix. Could play spoiler. Kid force the guys from Dark Knights into very uncomfortable positions, but Solo looks like he wants to claim this on. He wants to take the game away from the guys from AOD, but they have to defend. And Abubakar trying to get away through, but that guy will play the spoiler from the backside. They have no idea that he was there, but he will be traded off. Toxic gets him knocked away, and Dark Knights, this could be their game right now. Neon Rising crash out in third. Fast spray, 2 sprays from Darkness. Oh my goodness! Now there's another one to bite the dust. Wesco, the last one left for AOD again. Dark Knights do have a body out in the open. This could be another opportunity for Darkness to make something happen. That's a perfect grenade for Wesco, but he moves out just in time. Peeks out to the corner. Wesco sprays off, immediately gets the knock. And Toxic trying to circle back into that open space again, and that could make something happen again. He might be uploading him, but not this time. Dark Knights, chicken dinner, AOD in second place, and with that, I'm not even sure what we are going to be looking at, Browns.
It is going to be close. It is going to be very close between Dark Knights and Neon Rising. Was it enough? These are the questions we're asking, because right now it's a question of was it enough? I think Foul Play did enough. Ecstasy, 3 Crown, Tribe Warriors, Neon Rising, Dark Knights, AOD. Questions that we've got a lot of question marks. But before we get to that point, we shall break down these games. Dark Knights getting themselves that winner chicken dinner. And what is that? 8 eliminations? Was that enough, Priest?
That's a big question. That is the $1 million question. 54 eliminations went down in this game. 38 assists. You already know a lot of teams were working hard to put those numbers on the board. But the action does not stop there. We've seen them try this again and again. And now the action, we've seen it. We've seen it every single time. There's a lot of bodies that were dropped here, but was it enough? Again, all of the teams that have made it this far, it is a question of consistency. It's a question of summary. How far did they get, in this last game?
Nah, it's gonna be tough. It is gonna be tough. It's gonna be very, very close. But before we get there, Dark Knights, they were on something else. They did win themselves the chicken dinner. 8 elimination, 4 knocks, you know that they were third-party kings. They had a very nice position in that circle, and they played it to the end. You love to see how they held that split, and it played out well for them. 4 portions doing their damage in the background, but unfortunately, not quite able to find a place in that circle, and they eventually did go out, but not without securing 9 eliminations. And of course, Bego, the MVP for this game, but he did do enough for his team. We still do not know how far does that put Ecstasy on the leaderboard. We'll find out real soon. Top players for the lobby, please take it away.
Ooh, well, Bego showing us exactly who he is. MVP once again, showing us levels for Ecstasy. He put on a lot of work here for Ecstasy. Unfortunately, he just couldn't get them into that final third. And Bubakar and PlayStation 5 also putting themselves in the cut. Sharmut also in the mix, and Ace from 4 portions getting a piece of the action as well. Well deserved. Well deserved for all of these players. But take a look at that. 18 points for Dark Knights, 4 portions with 12, Vortex with 12 as well, Angels of Death with 10. Did they do enough? Neon Rising had 9 points, Ecstasy had 8, Foul Play also had 8, and that is what makes things so tricky. I'm not even sure what the leaderboard is looking like right now, but Arab T, Dream Team, Ragnar, all of these teams sharing 2 points apiece. Tribe Warriors, unfortunately, only 1 point. They did not cross the 100-point mark. An unfortunate scenes for them, crowds.
Man, 3 Crown Esports going out very early. 0 elimination, 0 points. This is going to be very tough, but without making you wait. Without making you guys wait any longer, the champions for the NPL reign splits.
Foul play. Foul play.
They did not have the best performance in the Hamatan split, but they said we are coming when it rains, and they rained down on the lobby, getting themselves the champion spot here in the rain split finals.
What a performance from Foul Play. Well deserved. Your Reign Split champions, Foul Play Esports, also known as Old Taker Esports. And well, it is well deserved. What a performance. PlayStation 5 is your MVP. 37 eliminations, and it is absolutely incredible. I'm pretty sure. Okay, no, he did not beat Amar's record. I think Amar had like 60, right? Or
40 something. Yeah,
or something. Yeah, but that is a close turnout for Foul Play. What a performance. PlayStation 5 in the front foot. Darkness also in the mix. Amar with 28, and Souls also in that mix. And that is what we love to see. Beautiful performance from Foul Play. Well deserved. They did everything right. So let's take a look at the overall leaderboard and see what it looks like. But ladies and gentlemen, Ecstasy in second place and 3 crowns in third place. Dark Knights, it was not enough. It was not enough at all, crowns.
Neither was it enough for Neon Rising. AOD maintained 5th position. Dark Knights maintained 4th position as well. And Tribe Warriors not even able to breach 100 points. It was an awful performance coming through from them today.
Pressure. High pressure engagements. But take a look at Ragnar. What a performance they had. 68 points. It is absolutely impressive for that team. They stood on business, and it was well deserved. Absolutely incredible. COB did finish at the bottom. Luik as well to follow through. Arab T getting themselves 41 points. I believe that is enough to put them in the grand finals, owing to the fact that they did turn up in the Hamatan split. But Dream Team, I'm not sure they've done enough with 52 points. I'm not sure they've done enough at all. But it is one for the books, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, the NPL may have just come to a pause. It is going to be an interesting next couple of days on that front. Remember, up next is the fans' favorites. But the leaderboard for the top 15 teams will be dropping this week. So don't forget to follow 1080 on all social media platforms and make sure you stay tuned.
Definitely be sure to stay tuned. We have had fun. We have enjoyed ourselves here on this final day, and what a final day showing. That just goes to show that these teams are hungry. Foul Play getting themselves that win here in the finals. Ecstasy also getting close, but not quite able to get themselves a back-to-back finish here in the NPL. So we're still going to keep our records of nobody winning a back-to-back. But without further ado, I say thank you to Priest for joining me on here today. Thank you, production. Thank you to Monster Energy and 10 and 80 for also putting this together, and for every single person in the chat supporting. We love you guys too, and we thank you for your support. And without further ado, we shall be seeing you next time on the NPL. And bye bye. Have a good night.